Welcome to episode 209 of the official Gamestitch Podcast. I'm Ryan Walton. As always, I'm joined by Dan Reamer.
Yeah, I'm here. Woohoo!
And Matt Bowden.
Thank you for having me.
So you went no intro last week, and you went way too far this week, Dan.
I had to make up. I had to make up.
You're overcompensating.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Nobody likes it.
So I drive around in a Chevette. Overcompensating from a big dick.
You have a Chevette?
No, or a big dick. It's two lies in one.
I've had a Chevette, yes. I've had two of them.
I wish you had
like
one
that
now.
car?
I do, too. I actually love that car, and I wish I had another one. There's no way my wife would ever let me spend money on a Chevette. It just would not happen.
Get down. Get down.
What if you like lifting a little bit of money out of your bank account each week, saving it for a couple years?
Are you talking about skimming from yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Then you buy it and you say you want it in a raffle.
No, if I was gonna do that, I wouldn't do it with a Chevette. I would just want to straight up buy a Chevette. That's not a car you like betray your spouse with.
I'm trying to figure out which is stupider, the fact that you would skim money for yourself, or the fact that your explanation for how you got the car is that you won it in a raffle.
No, that's legit. People win cars in raffles.
Nobody has ever won a car in a raffle.
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
They do a Corvette raffle here at one of the local volunteer fire departments.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's rigged.
It's never Chevettes, but
except for when you win one. Craziest thing, I won a Chevette. I bought a $1 ticket and I won it. That's why you don't see any money missing from the account.
That's not going to go.
That's
the way
when she
you
starts
think it
checking
is.
the books, though. It's like, let me see your ledger.
Well, he grabs $20 out for like gas and lunch and stuff.
So you're talking about holding back your lunch money so you can buy a video game at the end of the year?
No, a Chevette.
Well, yeah, a Chevette, but yeah, the thing that everybody used to do in school was where you held back you used half your lunch money.
And you held on to the rest of it and put in your piggy bank and then bought that game when it came out.
Right, exactly.
I didn't do that.
Then your mom's like, how'd you have enough money to get GoldenEye? And you're like, well, I've been doing some odd jobs.
I've been stealing. I've been selling the silverware.
I've been saving.
Well, you don't tell her that. You don't tell them you've been saving the lunch money, because then they just start packing your lunch.
All you say is saving.
You got to eat a bullshit turkey sandwich on wheat every day.
Right,
Oh,
saving
that
from
sounds
what?
So good.
You didn't have a job. What were you saving from?
Allowance. Did you not get? You guys didn't get an allowance?
Nope.
Nah, I just asked for money when I needed it.
No, I got an allowance.
Millennials.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Millennials, the entitled bastards.
I'd like to point out that I don't think I'm a millennial. I'll say some shit. Well, technically I am. If you're born in 85, if you're born from 85 to like 2000, whatever the hell it is,
You're a millennial.
I don't
Yeah,
think
you're
so.
a
I think the
millennial.
cutoff is different.
no, the cutoff is like
Let's check
like
while you guys keep talking about
March
how much
of
you love
85 or
how much you
February
love
85 or
millennials.
something like that.
Actually, isn't that? And I think millennials are later. I think you guys are Generation Y.
Yeah,
We're Gen Xers.
Gen X.
Yeah.
No, I'm a Gen Xer.
No, we're Pepsi generation. That's right.
Because Gen Xers are like.
Hold on, just wait. I'm gonna get the deets.
70.
Gen Xers are people who were high school in the 90s. Right?
Something, yeah.
Because that makes us Gen Xers because we were in high school in '99.
No, early. No, you're not. No, that's not how it works. It's a born by a born by date.
Here's okay. Millennials are also known as Generation Y.
Oh,
Echo Boomers and the Peter Pan generation.
the Peter Pan generation.
I've never heard of that, but that's exclusively what I'm using going forward.
Yeah. But we don't fit into that. Like we're in the millennial age, like in the year gap, but I don't think we really fit the millennial description.
You're the very early millennials.
Yeah, because I consider myself to be a kid of the 80s. I was born in the middle of the decade. Like everything I love is from the 80s. The 90s about halfway through. I have a cutoff point of shit that I started liking.
You didn't get to really appreciate. I mean, you were born in what, 85?
85.
85. So you didn't really. I mean,
like, I didn't go see Back to the Future in the theater, but I saw Back to the Future like when I was 4 or 5 years old. Like, I
understand that.
I remember those movies. I remember watching Top Gun as a in that 4 to 5 age group. Like,
I get that. I just think it's different. I think you were more of the. I mean, you're almost the post-grunge era, really.
Yeah, to me, like, millennials are the kids that, like, Pokemon was their shit. Like, Pokemon and Beyblade and all that stuff. Like, that's the generation that's millennials. Like, my little brother's era is millennials.
So let me tell you what this says. There's no exact start or stop date. However, most researchers typically use the 1980s as a starting for birth years and end sometime in the 2000s.
It's definitely an attitude thing.
You know how when you change something, there's still a little bit of the thing before left in it?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. That's where you guys are at.
That's where we're at.
Yeah.
Like, we just hadn't switched all the way over to the new thing yet. We still have a little of the old left.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, but I definitely think we're a little bit more leaning towards Gen X and not millennial. I mean, there are people our age, though, that I would say are 100% millennials. They still live with their parents. They still, they have that shitty, like, sense of entitlement thing.
They work 20 hours a week and want to know why they don't have more because they deserve it.
Tell you how bad society is all the time.
Right.
But I do have a little bit of that. I'll work 50 hours a week and then be like, why don't I make $80,000 a year? So does that make me a millennial because I feel like I should have a lot of money? But doesn't everybody feel like they should have a lot of money?
No, but feeling like you have a lot of money, but you're talking about working, and everyone else like I have I'm gonna fucking blast on my family here, but I have a sister who is full blown millennial.
Like, she doesn't want to work at all, but she wants to have a $60,000 a year income?
She thinks the world has been so bad to her that she deserves that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think the world's been bad to me, but I do think that there are things that I deserve based on the amount of work that I put in. So
that's completely different.
I don't know what that makes.
That's called.
But do you deserve it, or is it owed to you?
Right. No, I don't. I mean, I feel like I deserve it based on the effort that I've put in. Do I think that it's? But I don't think it's owed to anyone. I think that if you work hard, you should. And I think that's the line, right? Like, that's the baby boomer thing. Is that you should work hard and nothing should come to you, and you should keep working hard. That's the baby boomer attitude, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the millennial attitude is I shouldn't work and I should have everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we crossed the line a little bit of, like, I feel like I should put in a 60 to 80 hour work week if I want $60,000 to $80,000 a year, right? Like, if I want nice things, if I want a lot, like, I should have to work for it. But I don't feel like I should work 60 to 80 hours a week for $20,000 to $40,000. Like, I do feel like there's a point where the amount of effort and work you put into something isn't, like, the reward doesn't meet the effort that you're putting into it, and you should stop doing that and try something else. So,
and that's like with Generation X is almost different than that, because, like, the baby boomers, and the generation after that, there's been a lot going on. But they all had something to, like, rail against. There was some sort of establishment or some sort of movement that they could rail against, and that's kind of what defined the generations. Gen X doesn't have that.
You got the LA riots, and
not really. I mean, to a point, I suppose, but the 80s were not really a horrible. There was no economic depressions. There was no fallouts from housing bullshit or any of that. We just kind of went about our business, and our thing was just to. I'm just gonna do nothing. We kind of railed against the excess of the 80s, and you know what? We're gonna live simple. We don't want all that shit. I want my good music in my little room, and me and my 6 friends here are gonna hang out, and here's how we exist. It's fine. But we didn't want more than that. It wasn't like anything was owed to us. It's not like, oh, I should have more. It was, this is all I want.
Yeah, I think, which I think is the attitude that, you know, a lot of people who are, let's air quotes, millennials, right? You're born in that, like, 80 to early 90s era, and people are still calling you a millennial because, like, you vote liberal, like, socially you have this liberal skew, right? You slant that way.
Mm-hmm.
but they assume that because you have that attitude that you feel like you're entitled to things without having to work for them. And so you get called a millennial for socially feeling one way, but then when you're talking about your economic responsibility and your contributions to society and stuff, you get called a millennial also, but you feel a little bit more like a Gen Xer. Like, I want the things that I want, and I want to work hard for them. But then when you take a social angle on it, you say, well, I think everybody should have all the things that they want to work hard for. Like, I don't think anybody should be impoverished and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's the biggest difference.
It's a very weird area for like me and Ryan to be a part of. Like, you get labeled for things that you definitely aren't, and there's nothing you can do about it. It sucks.
So it's like the baby boomers. They wanted what they wanted on society's terms. The Gen Xers wanted what they wanted on their terms. The millennials want everyone else to get them what they want on their own terms.
Right. And I just don't feel like I fall into that category at all. And a lot of people I know in my age group, I don't feel like they fall into that at all, but they're, you're labeled as a millennial.
But you've got that crossover aspect, so.
Yeah, there's definitely a big blurred line. How the fuck did we end up talking about this?
I have no idea.
How the fuck did y'all end up talking about it for 6 minutes? Is a better question.
Hey, listen, we're people of the world, Ryan.
Shit got real.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone appreciates our Millennial Minute.
That's right.
Oh, shit, Millennial Minute.
Well, I like it.
Every week, the Millennial Minute.
The Millennial Minute.
Listen back and tell me you like it again.
No,
I'm pretty sure you won't.
It was fun in the moment. It's very Gen X.
It was.
Whatever, millennial. You just want what you want.
Sometimes we have to. This podcast needs to be raised to a certain level because we bring ourselves down a lot.
But sometimes when you're saying the same thing that everyone already knows, you don't need to spend 6 minutes on it.
Yeah, but we say it differently.
No,
we do.
Not that time. You didn't.
My way's better. My way's better.
Yeah, we've got like a way that we talk.
We're also called Echo Boomers, which I like too.
I don't like that either.
That sounds like a good Vita game.
What does that mean, Echo Boomer?
It has something to do with. Oh, your movement is the environment, I would imagine.
Echo Boomers.
Eco Boomers.
It could be, but I don't think so. I think it's Echo.
Is it ECO or is it ECHO?
It's ECHO. That's why I don't think it's Eco.
Oh,
it is Echo.
Okay, Echo Boomer. What does that mean?
Because we echo the baby boomers.
Well, we're children of the baby boomers. Well, some of us are. Like, you and I are children of baby boomers.
I'm thinking about going out in the street and screaming, Echo Boomers Unite.
And just you got to do that over a cliff, though.
And just see if anybody shows up.
See?
I just want to see who shows up.
You're an echo. You're like what's left over after the boomers? Is that what that is?
Yeah,
I guess.
I think Echo Boomer just means you're... No, I think it just means you're children of baby boomers. Like, you're, like, all of our parents were baby boomers, right? Your parents are baby boomers right now.
Generation Y, Generation Me, Echo Boomers, Peter Pan generation, and Millennials are all the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, no one responded to that. How was your week?
Giants lost their wild card playoff to the Packers.
Boy, did they.
It was devastating, and I smashed the controller to turn the game off at halftime. So
I mean, they made
go
it.
Giants next year.
They made it deeper into the postseason than some.
They made it further than they have since they won the Super Bowl last against the Patriots.
Let's be honest, they made it deeper than they should have.
Yeah, no, you're right. They did. They played some real shit show games this year. But they got a brand new coach, and they made it further than they should have on a brand new coach, and I was impressed by that. So now it's go Pats.
Your boy
Get that sixth Super Bowl for Tom Brady.
Are you serious?
Yeah, my boy, big haircut, Ben McAdoo.
Now
Dude,
I'll say,
Patriots are my backup team. Like, the two teams I pay attention to are the Giants and the Pats. I don't care about anybody else.
I saw a sign the other day that said Tom Brady, peace, sitting down.
I don't care. He's the greatest quarterback to ever play the fucking game. He can pee however he wants to. He's also married to Brazilian supermodel.
I don't think that's a fair assessment. I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback. He's a great quarterback.
He's gonna be the only person to win six Super Bowls.
I understand that.
He's the greatest quarterback.
But I believe there should be asterisks because you stick him out on the field in the 70s when he's go up against the Iron Curtain with the rules they had then, he's fucking devastated.
Sometimes.
I mean,
he's like a broken leg in a year and a half.
Sometimes
just depends on the team, right?
Sometimes sitting down to pee is okay.
I sit down to pee when I'm pooping.
When you got Morning wood?
Yeah, when you're tired, you need a break.
I'll do that. I just get in the shower.
I do it with morning wood.
I'm just saying it's not all bad when you take a sit
I was
down.
telling you a sign I saw.
Right.
Right.
It wasn't a referendum.
I feel like a better sign would be like Tom Brady sucks though, because you can't take it any other way.
You don't like Tom Brady, or are you just saying that the sign would have been better if it had been more on the point?
The sign would have been better because, like, do I have to feel a way about myself because I like to sit down sometimes?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you're right. You're making an assessment on Tom Brady that could apply to a lot of people.
Right.
You could definitely
But I don't
create a
suck,
mob
though,
mentality
so if
against you.
I don't suck, so if he said he sucked, I'm like, yeah, he does.
Yeah.
But I'm not grouped in that.
Yeah, but Tom Brady doesn't suck, so you've got to be more specific. You have to say, like, I don't like Tom Brady. You have to make it like
how about
it's personal. Like, I don't like him.
Tom Brady sucks dicks?
We don't know that.
Yeah,
No, so
you
so
can't
our
unsuck him.
sign
That's
has
for
to be a
sure.
true statement then.
It should be.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be, but it should be.
But we
Right.
do want it based on facts.
But what if we put
Personally,
Tom Brady,
I don't like Tom Brady.
Tom Brady,
sucks water through a straw.
or like Tom Brady might have sucked a dick.
Might have. Okay.
Right.
Right.
I think
How
that.
about in my
Allegedly.
opinion?
Tom Brady
I don't
allegedly sucked a dick.
In my opinion,
Once.
Tom Brady isn't very good. That's a good sign, right?
I don't care to watch him succeed.
I'm not interested in Tom Brady right now.
What if you just said I'm not interested in Tom Brady? And everybody's
And then
like,
the sign right next to it said, "I really like Rob Gronkowski."
it sounds like a book he's writing. I'm not
Yeah.
interested in Tom Brady by Tom
That is
Brady.
Yeah, the autobiography of Tom Brady.
About how much people hate him because he's successful.
Because he's a good
Because
quarterback.
Right.
he's good. He's fan-fucking-tastic.
So he's married to a supermodel with beautiful children. There's
Yeah.
a big giant house. All his money and Super Bowl rings.
I'll
He
tell you
looks,
this, man.
he
Tom
looks like
Brady-
$1 million fucking dollars,
Yeah,
and he's
he
got
does.
$1 million fucking
Tom
dollars.
Brady's got some fucking sweet, got some good hair.
He's got some good everything.
Yeah, he does. He's an attractive man, and he takes care of himself. Like the dude
does.
eats well. He
He's
works
also
out
like
well.
Ben Roethlisberger old. Like he's been in the league for a long damn time.
He's gonna play till he's like 46. He said.
That's
I'll
enough
tell
time to win a couple more Super Bowls.
We're recording this podcast on Sunday. They just played the Texans last night on the 14th.
Yeah,
And if he gets hit like he did last night, he's not going to play for another year.
yeah, and at halftime, being up by 3 against the Texans definitely isn't where I saw him.
He got hit once.
Did you see that shot he took at the end
Yeah.
line?
Here's
Yeah.
what
By the
I'll
goal
tell you,
line?
people.
Oh my
People don't
God.
like Tom Brady because he took a hit last night, and he stood up like, and that look on his face was like the fucking nerve.
Right, like, well, why would you have hit me like
The
that?
fucking nerve for somebody to come across here and hit me.
Right,
Like
that
that's
was
what his
unnecessary.
face said.
Yeah.
He's a millennial.
I don't. Yeah, yeah. There's this stupid attitude that people have that Tom Brady just doesn't deserve to be good, and I don't understand why.
I don't have a problem with him being good. I do think he's probably a mega douche, though.
Yeah,
But he deserves to be, right?
No.
Do you not?
You don't get to be a douche just because you're good.
right.
You don't think you get to be that good and then get to say that you're that good? If he
It-
works that
my
hard to
problem
be
isn't
that
that
good
he
at the game, he
says
gets to
it.
say it is.
He
Yeah.
just
He carries himself like
a
he's
fucking
better than
douche,
people.
right?
Okay, and who doesn't? Like professional wrestlers, rappers, rock stars. Like you idolize a rock star for looking down their nose at people, but because Tom Brady does, it's not cool
Oh,
anymore.
who
I
do
don't
I do not idolize rock stars for that.
I don't
either,
I'm
like-
by
saying
the
like
way.
that's the rock star thing, right? Is to be like,
Okay, well, he plays football. He's not a rock star.
I'm a rock.
I don't like
He's
any
a
of those things you
millionaire who plays
named
a
either.
fucking game every weekend. Like he's a rock star.
It doesn't matter.
He-
There are plenty of people who are the same thing, who are that good, who play that hard, who are that successful, who don't carry themselves like that.
Yes.
You don't have to.
There's nobody as successful as Tom Brady in the game of football. I'll argue that.
There are people who carry themselves way different.
Like-
If your success is
Peyton
Is-
Manning, Dan
Peyton
Marino,
Manning
all
is
carry
not as
themselves.
good as Tom Brady. Dan Marino is not as good as Tom
doesn't have as
Brady.
many Super Bowls.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he's not,
Not as good. Not as good. Playoff record.
I take Brett Favre
Conference
over almost
championship
everybody.
record. Now, Favre, I'll make an argument for. I think Favre is one of. He's up there in the top 5 with Brady, and he does have an attitude.
I
that
think
is
Terry
Favre
far-
is one of the. Yeah, I like Terry Bradshaw.
Terry
too.
Bradshaw just lucked up in the time he played
Wow.
football. He just happened to be.
Let me tell you why
good spot.
I like Brett Favre, because he's fucking tough as nails. He's just a good old boy, and he's sending out dick pics.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't care if I send out dick pics. It's
Yeah,
fine.
it's a good dick. Like I showed
Yeah,
somebody.
he's like, if you want to see it, give it a look.
Right.
If you don't, ignore it.
like she
Yeah,
she
but-
was fine.
The thing is Brady is good. Brady does take care of himself and everything, but he almost, I want to say, looks is prissy about it.
It's a pretty boy.
You know?
So?
And Brett Favre was just like a farmer. He just
Like,
he's like a farmer.
Just rub some dirt in it and keep playing, yeah.
Like he's tossing hay Monday through Friday.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he comes out and throws touchdowns on Sunday.
Yeah, Brett Favre's the guy you want to have a beer with. Tom Brady's the guy you want to get your feet done with.
All right. You want to get a pedicure with.
Either one of them is fine, but you just have to know what you're getting.
Right.
Right.
But I don't like Tom Brady. I want to make that guy like that. I want that to be the ending note here. I also don't care for Tom Brady. I don't care for him because they're cheaters. I don't care for him because I don't like the way he carries himself.
I love him, and I can't wait for him to win 1,000 more Super Bowls.
And also,
play forever.
This is maybe start some controversy. I don't think Giselle's that pretty. I'm not attracted to Giselle.
I'm fair with that. She's got a big nose.
It just doesn't do anything for me. I don't like her build. I don't like. I understand why people think she's attractive, but for me, she doesn't personally do anything for me.
Yes, I'm the same.
I get that. Like she's very beautiful. Am I attracted to that? Not necessarily, but she is very beautiful. She's
I guess
I don't know what the I get what you're saying.
She's not ugly for sure.
No, she's not.
I don't think she's not a very attractive woman. I don't think that she's not the things that I like, but I 100% understand why she's
I feel the same way.
Yeah,
like a supermodel.
I just assume every time anyone brings her up, they're like, "Oh my God, she's beautiful," and I'm like, "She's okay."
She's not. Yeah. And then
like she can't be the argument to why Tom Brady should get away with shit because you're like, well, because of Giselle, right?
Yeah, she's not a warlock for sure.
Right.
But I don't know that if I saw her, I'd be like, oh my God, she's the most beautiful person I've ever seen in my entire life.
You ever seen her in person?
Yeah.
It's hard to say. No, I mean, like, have you ever been in the same air as her?
Yeah.
You have?
Me and Big Tom play Scrabble.
God damn it, Ryan.
Saturdays.
When they got pedicures.
Yeah, we get our feet did. She comes sometimes.
Right. Just saying, like, if you're in the same area with somebody, I think it's different.
Don't be jealous. Yeah, you are.
Doesn't matter to me.
All I do is tell him how much I really don't care for him the whole time we hang out.
How his wife is ugly.
Yeah.
Or how his
not
wife
ugly.
is not attractive to me.
She's not a troll.
Change that.
How she's not a troll.
She's not a troll?
Right. She's not. He's cool with it, though. He just wears his Uggs and hangs out.
You think you walk up to Tom Brady and just, like, elbow him a little bit? Like, I mean, I've seen prettier. You just tell him that about Giselle?
Do better,
Here's
bro.
the thing. If I walked up to Tom Brady, I nudged him and said, I've seen prettier, I would almost bet everything I own his first thought would mean that I'm talking about him. Because that's how he carries himself. He would never just assume I'm talking about his model wife who's made a career off her looks. He would assume I'm talking about him.
Now, do you think that Tom Brady thinks he's the greatest quarterback to ever play?
100%.
Yeah.
I don't. I think
100%.
Tom Brady is a Brett Favre guy. I think he admires football players like that.
We're going to have to move this podcast on before I lose respect for you. There's no way he thinks of himself like Brett Favre.
No.
Brett played so hard he can't remember his middle name now.
What is his middle name?
No one knows.
Ulysses.
Nobody knows because you never told anybody. Forgot so long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not not poking fun about concussions, but he seriously played too hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Brady's one of those guys that admires the greats that came before him. I think he's a Favre and a Marino, and I think he's a Peyton Manning fan. Like,
no, I think he's got a bunch of pictures of himself up on the wall.
No, I think Tom Brady's a student of the game. You don't get that good at playing that position without loving to learn about that position all the time.
No, he acts like a millennial, like he's entitled because he got picked so late, and now he wants to prove everybody wrong because he's the greatest.
But now you're saying that because somebody's quiet and reserved and doesn't gloat, but doesn't act modest about everything that they're entitled, and that's not true. You don't have to be modest about stuff.
If we found 1,000 people right now, you'd be the only one on his side.
Right.
Oh, that's 100% true. But I think I think people are jealous, right?
Of course, you're right, Matt. Out of the other 999 are wrong.
A person who gets to play a game,
so typical,
for millions of dollars a year, married to a hot supermodel,
not a troll.
Like, you're gonna hate him, right? You hate him because you're not that. Like,
but those other people exist. They're the same who I don't hate.
But the problem is, I have no desire to be that. I don't want to be a football player. I don't find his wife attractive. incredibly attractive to me. So
people don't like him because he's humble, or because he's not humble. But there's nothing that says that you have to be humble and modest if you're successful.
There's nothing that says that I don't have to find you annoying if you're not.
Right.
But
he's not just not humble. He's the extreme.
Yes.
But he doesn't gloat. He doesn't go like hot wife millionaire. Like he doesn't walk out and say that. He doesn't go Tom Brady hot wife.
No,
like he's not that guy.
It's more subtle than that, though. It's the way he carries himself. It's
right.
I think that's a projection. He doesn't carry himself he carries himself in a way that says, I'm here to play football and I'm going to do it really well, and I'm going to go home and bang my supermodel wife.
He carries himself in a way that's like, this is a $6,000 sweater and I look better than the rest of you.
Right.
But he does look good in a $6,000 sweater, and nobody else has one on. So
so would I.
He gets sacked, and he's like, "How dare you? I broke a nail."
Yeah.
What an odd argument.
Oh, it's not an argument. One side's right.
I'm not trying to argue right or wrong. I'm trying to say that it's okay for him to do those things. He deserves it.
Fuck Tom Brady. I'd make that the name of the episode.
Specific enough. Specific enough.
Listen, no, I mean I would fuck him.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Listen, if we weren't about to talk all about the Nintendo Switch, I would call this episode "Fuck Tom Brady."
Well, it's a family show. Don't do that. What does your shirt say? Say I'm like the wind.
Show.
Can we just be clear that it's not a family show?
For 209 episodes.
I think of it as a family show. People tune into on Sunday morning before they go out to church.
Wow. I'd like to apologize to all of those people.
That actually explains why Matt's such a Tom Brady fan, because he is fucking delusional.
Ryan, what the fuck does your shirt say?
I'll show you in a little bit.
It says I'm like the wind or something.
No.
Like Patrick Swayze. She's like the wind.
Matt goes to the Church of Tom Brady Sunday morning.
I don't go to church.
Yeah, you do. The Church of Tom Brady, where he just talks about his smoking hot wife and his football skills and how he deserves to act like an asshat.
Not a troll.
I love the Giants. I appreciate Tom Brady.
That makes 3 of you.
Yep.
Tom, Giselle, and you.
Yeah.
His kids probably like him too. 5. He has 2 kids, right?
Who cares?
I don't know. I don't keep up with his personal life. I just watch him play
guarantee you
football.
his kids appreciate what he does because they're not going to ever have to fucking do a thing.
Just what we need is 2 more fucking entitled Bradys running around.
Yeah. Right.
Banging their smoking hot wives, talking about how they deserve better.
Not a troll wives. Not a troll wives.
Not a troll.
Right.
Not a troll is not a bad title either. But fuck Tom Brady, I feel like that really makes you want to see what happened.
It is very, very, very vague.
What, not a troll?
No, fuck Tom Brady. You gotta get specific. Like, I don't like Tom Brady and what he's doing.
Not for the episode of the podcast. I can name it whatever I want.
Right.
That's
I
true.
hate that guy.
Fuck Tom Brady.
That's true.
I should buy fucktombrady.com, but I bet it's already gone.
Probably.
Let me find out.
Yeah,
There's
check it out.
versions of it. There's probably a .org. There's probably a .uk.
See if fucktombrady.gov is available.
Fucktombrady.com. Let's see what's on here.
That's not a bad URL to buy.
It's just a blank white page.
Somebody's got it.
It doesn't even... Huh?
Somebody's sitting on it. Somebody parked it.
I thought
Well, it doesn't have anything written on it.
See if that
Let me hit
shit's
up GoDaddy and see if she's available.
Yeah, see if fuck Tom Brady. Maybe we should buy that.
$27? Is that how much it is?
No, it'll be like $6.
$2.99.
Oh. Is it available?
Fucktombrady.com is taken, but you can get fucktombrady.us, .net, .shop, .org, .info, .co, .technology, .io, .online.
What about fucktombrady.football?
No, they've got .cool, .email, .xyz, .estate.
Fucktombrady.cool is all right. That's not bad.
Now, what would be cool is if you could get like .day, you could get fucktombra.
No, it's
.day,
too complicated.
and it would say fucktom. Well, no, it wouldn't because the DAY. Let's see, fuck Tom Brady. You need just .dy. Fuck Tom Bra.
Fuck Tom Brady sounds like fucktombrady.net sounds like the kind of website you expect to get when you go there, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like just one rager put it together.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know how to build a website?
Which is why it's a
this
blank
website
screen.
just might not be very optimized because it's just. I think it probably has some old Flash stuff on it that's being blocked. I don't know.
I hope it's a mini game.
Yeah, I think it might have been because it popped up the little Shockwave plugin.
Where you just click to punch him in the face over and over.
It probably is.
It's one of those things.
Like that old Punisher game from the Super Nintendo where all you did was move from side to side and you shot with the crosshairs. You guys remember that?
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm lying. I don't remember it either.
That's you. And different Tom Brady just keep coming at you and move from side to side, punch him in the face. Be sweet.
Matt got real lucky right there because I was about to call him out on his but he called himself out. You listeners can't see this, but his face said, "I don't know about that."
I don't know.
You
Even though he
remember
said
that old
yeah.
Punisher game?
No, dude. Nobody's played that but you.
Fucking millennials.
I sold one copy of that.
Yeah.
And you bought it.
I played like Bomberman and Ninja Gaiden and shit like that, bro.
If this is your first time joining us, this is the official Gamestitch Podcast. Each week, this team of best friends brings you all the video game news that you care about, wrapped up in whatever the fuck just happened for the last 30 minutes. I'm just letting that soak in for a second because it's been a rough 30.
Nah.
I mean, it sort of has. This podcast is available to you every Monday, 6 a.m. Central Standard Time on podcast services around the world. If you want to support this show, head over to patreon.com/GameStitch and toss us a couple bones. If you don't have any bones to toss us or you don't think we're worth it, that's cool too. This podcast will always be free. Always be free.
Did you have a stroke while you were giving the Central Standard Time?
No, I caught a Charlie horse.
Oh, in your leg?
Yeah, my calf.
Just out of nowhere?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
I hate that. Yeah, I hate it. You ever be sleeping in bed and that happens?
Fuck yes.
And you're like, the worst is when you're in the in-between place, which is what I call my place when I'm not awake, not quite full into sleep
Dozing.
yet.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you have a Charlie horse, you wake up, you think you're falling, and now you're fucked.
Dude,
Like,
I get
oh my
them,
God, what do I do?
in a dead sleep. I just wake up screaming. It scares Ricky to death.
That
Because
wasn't,
I get them like bad. Like
that
they've been
wasn't
set
the
in for a
worst
minute
one I've
before
ever
I wake up.
had, but it caught me off guard.
They always do, out of
Yeah,
nowhere.
You guys?
I
Remember
winced.
that
Did
night
you
I
see
was-
me? Did you see me wince?
Yeah, I saw it.
Did it fucking like out of nowhere? Just
Remember
You
that night
leaned
we were
over
playing
real hard.
Remember that night we were playing Rocket League, and all of a sudden I got that massive Charlie
Oh yeah,
horse?
yeah. You lost your mind that night too. At least you weren't in the middle of reading like a pitch though.
True.
Right. Doing an ad for Blue Apron, you get a Charlie horse. You gotta
Here's what
scream.
happened. I was
around
like,
it.
Central Standard Time. It's fine. So I know where my calf is locked up. Don't worry about it.
Right.
They thought we were going to run a marathon, not do this podcast.
Yeah, I'm right. Why do I have a Charlie horse? I'm fucking sitting down in a
Right.
chair.
Probably ought to slam a banana when I'm finished with this. What's going on with that?
Is that a euphemism?
No, I should actually eat a banana. Get it all out of your system.
Get it out, Dan.
Yeah, finish it up.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay.
Go.
Let's switch topics.
Haha.
That's going to happen several times this podcast.
Yeah, it is. That horrible
Just so you
fucking
know.
joke.
Yeah, and that snap. Did you hear Matt's weak ass snap? He doesn't
Oh,
snap
yeah.
like Nintendo does. There you go. That's right. Nintendo had their big reveal event. January 12th.
On the 12th.
And let's start by just talking about the conference itself. Not what was revealed, but just the entire feel of the conference.
Yeah. I think we need to give them the rights to dumpster fire.
It was
bad.
It was bad.
I've been a part of video games for a long time, and I've seen some real shit shows. But it
like
was the
that,
most
huh?
bizarre and worst conference reveal, whatever you want to call it, I've ever seen.
Everybody who came out and presented in any way looked just super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Except for the guy wearing like the David Copperfield coat.
That fucking guy, yeah. But he blends in anywhere. He's fine anywhere if he can wear that coat in public.
I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? That whole thing was weird and stiff. It was like it was like 30 dudes in suits decided to do a conference.
It's very bad when Reggie Fils-Aimé is the most relatable person
Oh
that
my
you've
God.
seen present.
When that robot is the most human person that is on this whole presentation, you have fucked up in a way that I can't explain.
Reggie Fils-Aimé is a replicant.
Yeah. If I've ever seen an android human, it was him. His head's not shaped right. He's too big.
His eyes, he never blinks.
Or he
ever.
doesn't blink.
It's like three rectangles like slammed together for a head. So
He's like a rock'em sock'em robot.
You can make Reggie in Minecraft if you really wanted to.
Yeah. There's nothing
Oh,
about him that
geez.
says I'm a human. But he was the most human person that appeared that entire night, except for maybe the dude from Bethesda. Todd Howard.
Oh, Todd Howard.
Todd Howard recorded like a 30-second clip on his iPhone for him. And he seemed pretty human.
Yeah.
He's like, hey.
He sent him that .mp4.
Yeah. He's like, hey, it's Todd Howard from Bethesda. We're sending a 6-year-old game over to the Wii, or the Switch. Excuse me. Have a good night.
I'm sitting on my pile of cash, so I'll never have to make another game.
He should have been
Skyrim.
He should have been laying on a pile of money while I was like fanning through it while he was talking.
Right, Tom Brady's the asshole. I got it.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's all recorded on like a prison security camera.
Yeah. It's cutting out and shit. Nintendo's like, you have a better quality, and he's like, fuck off.
Can we talk about the psychopath who was the main presenter? All I could think about was how many people has that guy murdered in his life. The Japanese guy with like the yellow teeth and like the white eyes.
It's the guy that wore the coat.
Yeah, that's a coat guy.
The guy who was in all the ones with the white backdrop, and he'd be like, now let's check this out. That guy.
Let's switch to this presenter. You're like, why is that how you do it?
Yeah. How is this the sound of Switches?
How is it not called Nintendo Snap?
It is.
Yes.
Because you guys are real into snapping.
Yeah.
Some of them, I will say, there was a moment during the presentation where I think it was Kimmy, the guy that runs Nintendo. We're just going to call him Kimmy because I know the rest of his name. Yeah.
The dude from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Kimmy from Fuller House.
Or to be confused with, either way. Yeah. But towards the end, the snap wasn't in real time, but he hit one that was perfectly lined up.
Yeah.
Like in a way that no one else's was. Like I thought he changed what was happening with it.
The guy that came out for Splatoon that had the guns.
Yeah.
He did the Freddie Mercury snap at the end of his. He did that like that.
His was
really good.
He was my favorite for the whole night. The guy who worked for the Squid Research Facility.
Yeah.
He had a lab coat on and 2 Nerf guns.
He did the whole presentation in kayfabe like it was all for real for him.
He had some hard fan fiction up there, and it looked good.
Yeah, that was something. I don't even know what it was.
That was a bad press conference and a worse reveal.
Yeah. I wonder if it has anything to do with being at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, there's no
5
excuse
over there, right?
No, I think it was afternoon over there. I think it was like 4 in the morning in Europe or something.
It was 11 here.
It was like 4 in the afternoon there. Huh. A 12-hour difference?
No, I think it was 5 in the afternoon there and 11 here.
Yeah, okay. 4 hours. Yeah, almost Central Standard Time though.
Yeah. So it was pretty normal. It was just very weird.
Like I said, it was like a bunch of suits planned a fun party for everybody.
It was definitely. It was a very Japanese presentation.
Very much so, but not in like the fun Japanese way.
No, not the goofy fun. In the we're incredibly awkward when talking to Westerners. Not like
the J-pop and the neon lights kind of way. More like in a
pachinko type of way.
They said we had to be fun, so we're going to be fun. That's how it felt.
It was almost like a.
Like HR made the presentation.
It was like none of them knew anything about America and heard that that's how Americans have fun.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
and if you look at the time that it was done, it was done for a Western audience.
Right.
So that's what I guess was so shocking is that you felt like it was geared towards the Western audience, but the content was very Japanese. Still.
Yeah.
I think it was probably weird for people in Japan also. Like for Japanese people, I feel like that was a weird conference. They were like, this is a little off.
And at one point, I think the dude went off script and the translator was struggling. And everything about that was bad.
I think you nailed it. I think you said earlier this week, it's like they hired Mark Cerny to do it. I think that's exactly what they did. They said, Mark Cerny, you're killing it with PlayStation. What do you do? Because we need to do it too. Just
for a little context, I said Mark Cerny's a genius, but stop putting him on the fucking stage.
Yeah.
Because he sounds like a serial killer up there.
Right. And all of Nintendo is serial killers now, so clearly they've been talking to Mark Cerny.
Let's jump into the meat and potatoes. Let's jump into what we actually saw.
All right.
The Nintendo Switch. And if you have no idea what this is, you probably need to back up. It's probably not the podcast for you,
right?
Because we're just
in the wrong place,
right? So we'll jump through some of these basics. It's $2.99 in the U.S.
That is not $2.99. That is $299.
Which I think we can all agree is on the high end of what this console can cost.
Yeah, it's $60 more than what we were predicting the cost to be. Yeah. Or $50 more than what we were predicting the cost to be.
$250 I think is a sweet spot. $200 is pie in the sky. I think $300 is that's as much as this is capable of selling for.
Yeah. But I don't think that's a bad price for it.
Do we want to?
I just think it's too much.
Do we want to go through all the basics of it and then talk about our opinions, or are we speaking out as we go?
We'll go through all the basics.
Yeah.
And then we'll I guess go back and forth.
Impressions.
Yeah. So it comes out March 3rd. That is a U.S., Canada, Japan, major European countries, Hong Kong, and other territories. So it is a worldwide
release is a good idea too.
It is also another good idea. It is a region-free system. Mm-hmm. No region lock.
Yeah.
Nintendo finally getting with the times. So we've seen their controllers in the past, the Joy-Cons. We got a little more info on how those work and how fucking tiny they are. They do have a shoulder button that snaps onto them that makes them a little taller. But the controllers have a lot of buttons on them.
Yeah.
Some might say too many buttons for their size.
And the buttons are tiny because
the controllers are
tiny.
Yeah. Now, one thing I noticed, there's no D-pad on any of those controllers.
So the left Joy-Con has buttons so that you can play it as a standalone controller. Those buttons do act as a D-pad.
Gotcha.
From some of the hands-on stuff I read, is very jarring for about the first 15 to 20 minutes, but after you interact with it, it starts to feel like a D-pad even though it's not.
Yeah.
So I guess I really won't know with that until I get hands-on. The right controller also has an IR motion camera that'll probably allow them to make some fucked up tech in the future.
Some real shitty fake VR.
Right. Fake VR. Sounds like regular gaming.
Yeah, right. They'll come up with some name for it. They'll make you put on the headset, but really only the controller does anything.
VRU.
VRU. Switch to Nintendo VR. There you go. Engage. In case you in case you were worried that it wouldn't have amiibo support, you can take a sigh of relief.
Great.
You tap it on one of the analog sticks, and your amiibo pop right into whatever game you're playing.
All right.
So they're keeping that dream alive. What does it come with? Not much. Apparently, it's going to come with the console, right and a left Joy-Con, a right and a left Joy-Con straps. They're not. It doesn't matter right and left. I added that.
Yeah, but they're the straps with the shoulder button extensions.
Yeah. Or also known as the only way to hit the shoulder buttons.
Right, unless you want to like dig down into the top of that thing.
The shoulder buttons without that strap look like the reset button on the back of my remote.
They're like buried into the mechanism that holds it to the side of the tablet. They're about a millimeter.
You gotta use a pen.
Yeah, the button's inverted. Yeah, it's like
your fingers touch each other to like if you press them both at the same time, like your knuckles are in the way. They're definitely not made for big old cheeseburger American hands.
It comes with a Joy-Con grip, which is the thing that they both slide into. It comes with a Nintendo dock, an HDMI cable, and an AC adapter. That's right.
I'll be honest, that comes with more than I thought it would.
No pack-in, no game.
No pack-in game.
That whole package is quite a bit. Like the shoulder extensions were enough that I was like, oh, that's enough of an extra.
That whole package,
$2.99.
the rest of it is just the shit you need to play it.
Right.
The only thing they're giving you
extra is those shoulder pads.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Now, what I think is really odd, and you're probably going to get to this here in a minute, is you can buy everything except for the tablet separate. The tablet is the only thing that you can't buy on its own. You have to buy the whole system package to get that. But the dock, the controllers, the shoulder extensions, the everything else, you can buy it out separate.
You're fucking everything up right now.
Sorry.
What can you get for accessories? Pro controller, $70.
Too much.
Let that soak in. More than a PS4 and Xbox One for the way that most people are going to want to play this system.
Yeah.
Joy-Con controllers, set of 2, a left and a right, $80.
That's the right price.
We'll talk about that. I don't have a problem with that. Joy-Con left or right, sold separately, $50. The Joy-Con charging grip, which is that centerpiece that they slide into, $30. A separate dock, in case you want to dock this bitch in two different rooms, $90. And a Joy-Con wheel, set of 2, which is just a piece of plastic like on the Wii that they snap into, $15 for a set of 2. It's important to note that the Nintendo Switch dock set included with a controller as one set of the Joy-Con. I have no idea what that's saying.
It is important to note the Nintendo Switch dock set is included with the console, as is one set of Joy-Con controllers.
Yeah, but we already went over that.
Yeah, I don't know why you put it on there. You just copied this from somewhere, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, but it's in the order that it was in.
That's true. Well, what do you about to say about this? The prices are right.
You about to ruin something else?
The prices are right for this stuff. Huh?
You about to mess something else up before I say it?
Probably. What? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a 6.2-inch, 1280 by 720 resolution, multi-touch capacitive screen, 32 gigs of internal storage. That's enough, right?
No.
You don't need any more than that, do you, to play games?
I guess it depends on the games you want to play.
I have to put
it depends on how much it takes to install the games, which we don't really know.
If you consider that a decent indie game usually takes 5 gigs.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, let's see what it takes to install, because you're gonna have to put the cart inside the console itself anyway. So maybe it doesn't install that much.
Just for reference, I heard that one of the games coming out for it that everyone's excited about takes up half of that storage.
Yeah, I assume Zelda and Mario would max out a card.
In terms of audio, the Switch has 2 speakers at the bottom and a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. What's the battery life like? This is one of the sticking points that we talked about earlier. Had to be right. Apparently, we have no idea. It could last anywhere from 2 hours to 6 hours.
Yep.
Do you think it's a misstep that it doesn't have Bluetooth capabilities?
I don't have a problem
for all the wireless headphones that are coming out.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't know that it doesn't have Bluetooth. I just know that they're saying that's what the speakers are.
Yeah.
I'm gonna imagine that since they didn't say it includes Bluetooth, that it doesn't, because.
I don't have a problem with that as much as I do this fat ass 2 to 6 hour battery life. Because I don't know if 2 hours is a virtual console game, or excuse me, is a Zelda, and 6 hours is a virtual console game. Yeah.
I think it's also very important to note they did not note any testing parameters for these times.
Right.
Oh, it's dev time. It's always dev time, which means that best case scenario.
Right. So 6 hours could be turning on your system, setting the controllers down, and leaving.
So just for context, they did say in the next morning in the actual meet and greet where the press got to play the Switch that battery life for Zelda is 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's fine.
That's a game that's probably going to push it pretty hard. That game probably doesn't need a lot of Wi-Fi though.
Right.
So I think. If Zelda's only getting 3 hours and it's not real Wi-Fi heavy, 2 hours probably is the worst you're going to see. But that's not very long.
I mean, when
most of your
when we're playing Mario
Kart
than
that.
Yeah, exactly.
The Switch does have a USB-C charging port, which is located on the bottom and does allow you to use your portable chargers, which is
there you go.
A nice workaround for the shitty battery life.
Yeah. For like $85, you can get a 27,000 milliamp hour battery. You'll be able to play the console for like 20 hours on that. So
the standard pricing for Switch games looks like $59.99. Some of the other games are $49.99 down to $19.99, but it looks like $60 is that standard pricing for Switch games.
Yeah, which is fine. That means if you're part of a discount gamers club thing, like if you're Best Buy or Amazon, you're getting your games for $48. That's totally okay.
So let's go through the games that are coming at launch. March 3rd, the games that you could buy the day you pick this thing up.
Day and date, they call it, I think.
Buckle up. 1-2 Switch, which is a weird fucking sampling of multiplayer games that you apparently don't need to look at a TV to play.
The screen is in your opponent's eyes.
Right. Just Dance 2017. The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild.
Woo.
Skylanders Imaginators. And Super Bomberman R. I'm not taking a breath. That's the end of the list.
That's a stellar lineup right there.
That's hard, man.
That is your 5 launch games. For comparison, the Wii U launched with 18 games. Or, excuse me, the 3DS launched with 18 games. The Wii U launched with like 50 games or something crazy because of the downloadable ones.
Yep.
And there's a thing going around on the internet of people... Yeah, when people say, "Man, the launch lineup sucks," and people are going, "Well, what did the PS4 launch with?" The PS4 launched with quite a few games, also.
Knack, Killzone,
Black Flag,
Knack.
Warframe,
Knack.
Yeah, I think the
Mark
PS4
Cerny's
launched with Yeah, I mean the PS4 launch lineup was, like in the 5 to 12 game range also. So I mean that doesn't.
So let's just back up.
I don't know why we're scoffing here.
Well, we're scoffing because the launch lineup is 3 games. The launch lineup is 1-2 Switch, Zelda, and Bomberman, because the other 2 games I could play right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So the launch lineup is 3 games. 1-2 Switch looks like something I never want to do.
It's
Breath of the Wild is going to be out on the Wii U also. So
right. Now I will say Super Bomberman R made me pop a semi-chub.
Hell yeah!
That game looked fucking incredible.
All right.
I wanted to have 8 friends that live close, 7 friends that live close, so we could put our Switch in a circle, a semicircle, and play Bomberman. That game looks fucking great. And I'll be interested to see what the Wi-Fi is like or what the online's like on that. Because if you're telling me we could play against each other,
man, we're not going to get much work done. Starting in March
at home, because I'm not playing at work.
Oh yeah, air quotes.
Yeah, right. Wink. They should have called the Nintendo Wink. Yeah, exactly. Then you couldn't do that. It'd be like ding every time they wink.
I mean, this isn't a Switch either. It could be a wink. It could be
every time
whatever
somebody
I want.
winks, switch to a different.
Yeah.
Every time someone.
Topic.
Yeah, but it goes like ding every time they wink, like that little yeah. So that's not the only games they showed off. Here's the stuff coming right around the launch window. ARMS is coming spring 2017.
Has Been Heroes, because they have spring ARMS.
Yeah. Has Been Heroes is coming March. I Am Setsune March. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe April 28th. Puyo Puyo Tetris spring. Snipper Clips Cut It Out Together March. The summertime is going to bring us Rhyme and Splatoon 2. And they missed out not calling that Splatoon, but with the TOO a different color.
No, that's stupid.
I should have called it that. Past that, we have Disgaea 5, Dragon Ball Z, Xenoverse 2, FIFA, Fire Emblem Warriors, Minecraft Story Mode, Rayman Legends, NBA 2K 2017, Shin Megami Tensei, Skylanders Imaginators, Skyrim, Sonic Mania, Steep, Super Mario Odyssey, Siberia 3, Ultra Street Fighter 2, and Xenoblade Chronicles. Those are all right now slated for 2017. They will all not make it in 2017. So, I think we just go through this without swaying our opinions. We just go through this one at a time and just dissect what we saw, what I just went through, and your thoughts after seeing this system.
Matthew?
I pre-ordered one with Zelda. I think the price is right. I think that the games are what I'm interested in. Zelda was my most anticipated game for this coming year, and the fact that I'm going to get to play it in March is really exciting. And I think Mario Odyssey looks great, and Mario Kart looks great, and I think Nintendo still has the same problems they're always going to have, but I think on this go-round, the console's not so... it's not such a disjointed clusterfuck mess that it seems appealing. I don't really have too much to weigh in on with it. I thought other than the press conference being weird, that I don't like it. Like, I don't like what was presented for the Switch, but I think I believe in it enough that I'll kind of, that I'm going to get one and go forward with it.
Ryan?
So I'm in a weird space with this. I definitely think, and let me start by saying I also pre-ordered one. Not that should come as a shock to anyone, because I was going to pre-order it no matter what. The press conference was very, very bad. And everyone who has played this thing says it feels really fucking good in your hands. The controllers are small, but they're easy to use. They feel okay when you're holding them. The tablet apparently feels very well made. It's got some weight to it. It feels like a quality product. The games play pretty good on them. Some concern about how Zelda's running on the Switch. Apparently not running as well as it was on the Wii U. So that stuff is all fine, but on paper, I think Nintendo is in trouble.
Very much.
This might be a very good system. That conference was not what they needed. It was very, very, very bad. And the lack of third-party support. They had somebody on stage to say, we like this, and in the future we're going to make a game for it. Like, there should have been people lining up to be at that conference to speak about how their game is coming out for the Switch. And instead they have to have some fucking dude who doesn't even have a game right now
talking about the game he intends to make.
Because he thinks the Switch is neat.
Yeah. Versus, if we look back at the PlayStation 4 announce, they had indie developers on stage all playing their games and a sizzle reel of all the indie games that were in development for the console at that time.
You fly somebody out from EA, from wherever they're at. I think they're in
Bangkok.
Right now, I don't think they're in Bangkok. I think they're in Washington or California or somewhere. They fly somebody out from EA, though, to announce FIFA. Only FIFA. Nothing else. Don't worry about our other games. Just FIFA. Mass Effect coming to it? Nope. FIFA is, though.
And it's a Switch version of FIFA.
Whatever that
means. Which is an
right.
Incredible. We'll get to that.
So, on paper, I think they're in trouble. They have 5 games coming out at launch. They have another handful of games coming out the rest of the year. The only games that sound any good, that look any good to me, are the ones coming out by Nintendo. Mm-hmm. It has no pack-in. It's at the top of what I think they can charge for the price. And the games that are coming out are not new games. Splatoon, by all accounts, is just an upgrade to the original Splatoon. This is not Splatoon 2. This is just a continuation of the first game. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the old Mario Kart with new characters. You can now hold 2 items, a few new tracks, but that is the same game as you had before.
Breath of the Wild's a port.
Breath of the Wild's out on the Wii U, or will be out on the Wii U. ARMS looks like a totally new game. A lot of rumors on the street that ARMS is actually made by Platinum Games. That
looks like it could be.
Yeah, that wasn't said anywhere. And all of the hands-on stuff said that game is Splatoon with fighting. It's very fast, it's very fun, it's very friendly, easy to pick up, easy to play. Doesn't interest me in any way. But these games that are coming out there, they're flagships. Like, if Splatoon is a port, why the fuck isn't it ready when we start? Right. Why isn't it ready at launch? That game, they should have. I'm okay with Mario Odyssey being pushed to the holiday. They need a good holiday game. But Splatoon, Breath of the Wild, ARMS, those games should have been ready to go day one, so I had some options. Because there is only one option, maybe 2 if you've got the money for games to buy on day one. And if I'm sitting back and I have $250 and I don't have a console, I'm not going to go buy the Switch. You can get an Xbox One or a PS4 for $250.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And you should, if it's between one of those. If you have to make a choice, you should not get the Switch. And the other misstep from all of this is that they insist on marketing as a home console. I don't understand that. They call it a console. They drive home that it's a console. You should be marketing this as the ultimate portable. This should be like the high-end, the luxury of handhelds.
Yeah.
You can also dock it at home, but this should be like the Rolls-Royce of handhelds, because it's not a good home console.
No, and they also made it very clear that the 3DS is not dead. And I think if you market this as a handheld, you have the possibility of declaring it dead.
So if this is successful, the 3DS is dead.
Right.
Yeah.
And I understand why they can't say that ahead of time, because if this is not successful, the 3DS is alive and well.
Right.
But
I think this is the swan song of the Nintendo home console.
It is very likely that this would be the last system that Nintendo makes, in my opinion, if this doesn't go well. Now, the misstep that they had is not nearly as significant as what Microsoft had when they unveiled the Xbox One.
Right.
And they're doing just fucking fine with like 30 million sold. They're just fucking fine. So it's not a death blow for Nintendo, but they're in trouble right now. Their stock dropped 5.5 points right after the announcement. Like, they're in trouble. They have to get their shit together. They have to keep the games coming, and they got to get fucking support. Skyrim doesn't say anywhere that it's an HD. I think this is the fucking 6-year-old game that came out.
Yeah. Skyrim's almost a decade old.
Like, that's not okay. It's not. I don't think it's the updated one.
No. It's got to be the old one. It's got to be running on minimal settings to be able to run on a tablet like this. It's got to choke the battery life out of that thing. And, I mean, let's be honest. Who fucking cares to play Skyrim a game that came out for Xbox 360 and PS3 on the console that came almost a decade after it. Like, Skyrim had its time. Like, let it fucking go. Make a new game.
This is not the support that they need. They don't need that because there are like 12 better places to play Skyrim.
Right.
The support they need from third party is Xenoblade 2.
New
like
games.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal. Some of the Dragon Quest 10 and 11, Dragon Quest 1 and 2 coming out. Like, some of those are kind of big deals, maybe not as much to our audience, or even to the Western gamers, but they need support from third party in a way that aren't just ports of games that are already out. They need people making games for the Switch, people making games like that they want on the Switch.
Yeah.
And they don't have that.
If they were going to announce third-party titles that were already in existence, as much as it hurts my body to say it, the games they needed to come out and say we're going to be available on the Switch at launch or within the launch window are Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, Battlefield 1, and Rocket League. Like, those 3 titles have to be on your fucking console.
I don't think any of those
are the 3
can
most
run.
played games. Yeah, and that's if Rocket League can't run on the Switch, there's a big fucking problem.
I don't think Rocket League can run.
That is 100% the most popular game on the planet Earth right now. That needs to be on your console in the fucking launch window. And the fact that they didn't have Psyonix there to say that Rocket League would be available to go out and play it mobile is a huge misstep.
I mean, I don't disagree. The best-selling PS4 game of all last year.
Yeah. And Bethesda shouldn't have been talking about Skyrim. They should have been talking about Doom. And, you know, they should have had Activision there to say, you're going to be able to play Call of Duty, and it's not going to be the Wii Switch or the Nintendo Switch version. It's going to be the same Call of Duty that they're playing on PS4 and they're playing on Xbox One. Graphically, who cares if it should be the same game. Lower the graphics if you need to, but it should be the same game. You should have the same options and levels and all that.
And I talked about it as soon as we kind of had an idea of what this was. To me, this is a complementary system. This goes along with your PS4, with your Xbox One. But the only way for it to be complementary is for it to fill a gap that my other system, you know, to complement what I have. It can't do that if it's all the same shit that I already have. Like,
right, but there are some titles that need to be on it.
Not to mention, it costs more as a complement.
Right. Well, right. I mean, I think you have to look at launch prices.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I think it's tough to hold them against current pricing. I think it was billed as a complementary system. The problem is I don't need fucking Steep for my Switch.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need Just Dance for my Switch. And Just Dance might be a shitty one to go with because that may be the best way to play that game.
Yeah. But you need Rocket League on it. Whether you have it somewhere else and it's a complementary system or not, you need games like that on there because you do have to have ways to sell the system. And even though Mario and Zelda are going to sell the system, you need those big flagship titles from the other systems that are already cross-platform to hit that system, and then you need the complementary library. Like 10 games that you can play everywhere need to be on the Switch, and then you need Mario and Zelda and games that you can only play on the Switch, Splatoon and stuff like that. Like, 100% believe that it's a complementary system, but if they want to sell that thing at $300, you put Rocket League on it.
I mean, and some of the early stuff, like, they don't have pricing for a lot of games. But right now, I saw yesterday 4 different places have Minecraft set at $60 for the Switch.
Mm-hmm. That's fucking stupid because you can buy it for
unacceptable
$10 to $20.
I mean, that is unacceptable. In a game that I want to own everywhere, I own that for Xbox, I own it for PS4, I own it for PS3, I own it for Vita. That's a game I want everywhere.
Yeah.
You cannot charge me more than I paid 4 years ago for the same game.
You're not going to charge $60 for a game that came out over 10 years ago either.
It's just... And you know, like I said, that pricing's not official, but I have seen it four places now. And
it's come pre-installed at this point.
I mean, it should just be $20. That's what it was everywhere else.
Yeah,
right.
But I mean, Microsoft's got to recoup that money, and that's fine. But it can't be $60. That's crazy.
Right. What's crazy to me also is if that's the full version of Minecraft, that's the ultimate way to play Minecraft mobile. And the only place they showed it in that whole conference was a sizzle reel. Yeah,
it should have been front and center because I have to think that is one of the best ways to play Minecraft.
Right. You get the full version of the game, full multiplayer, take it to work and play it, take it on the plane to play it.
Right.
You know, take it on the drive, on the bus, whatever it is. Like, that's the ultimate way to play Minecraft.
I think the accessories are getting a lot of negativity right now. I think they're pretty fairly priced with the exception of the Pro controller.
Yeah.
I think the dock has some shit inside of it. That's what makes it 1080 when you're playing on the TV. I think the dock is fine at $90. I think the Joy-Cons are fine. I mean, you pay that much for a PS4 controller. This is technically giving you 2 controllers, So a controller for $50, or if you buy them bundled together, $40 is a fine price for me. That Pro controller is too fucking expensive. At $70, yeah. That's too high. But they know people are going to buy it.
The only upside to that is if it comes out that you can use the Wii U Pro controller, because it looks exactly the same.
Yeah, you can't though, because
I don't see any difference.
Yeah, you can't. But I just don't. I don't have a problem with that. So I guess in closing, I think this is going to be a good system that is probably going to be held back by the same thing that the Wii U is held back. That it has no third party. Because these games are going to come out, and Ubisoft's going to say, "Oh, no one bought Steep. We're going to stop fucking making games for the Switch." And it will suffer the same fate in that only the first-party games are what's worth playing. And I think it's unfortunate because this is probably a much better offering than the Wii U was. This is probably more so in line with what they wanted the Wii U to be, instead of the Fisher-Price tablet that you can only play 15 feet from your system. This seems like that expanded upon, and I think if you have the money, I think that this is a fine investment. I don't think you're going to regret buying a Nintendo Switch, but I think that they're in real fucking trouble if they don't turn this around, because this did not go well. People were excited. The buzz was like really in the air. You could feel it everywhere, and after it was just so deflated. And I think you're going to get a lot of that from Dan right now.
One thing about Nintendo that Nintendo has always understood, regardless of missteps, is they understand fun. And I have no doubt that this system is going to be fun. The problem is that is probably all it's going to offer you, is that little bit of fun. The gimmick of the Joy-Cons is what I mean by fun. I don't mean the actual playing of it, but the way it's going to allow you to play the 2 games that you actually haven't played before on it is going to be fun. The way you play the games that you've already played before, that you played 6 years ago, Skyrim, Steep, that's going to be fun. The problem with fun is when that's all you have to offer, then it becomes a cost versus value balance. And you've got a 2 to 6 hour battery life. 6 is the high end, which, like I said, is probably it turned on and set down and walked away from. So I have no idea what I'm really getting out of what game. The launch lineup, like we said, it has three games, new games, that it has to offer. You've got 32 gigs, which is shit as far as memory goes. Granted, you've got upgradables, but those aren't going to be cheap.
SD is pretty cheap.
That's more money you have to, but it's still more money you have to spend.
It is more money, but I think on that, I think that solution is not terrible.
It's not terrible, but it again, it comes down to the balance. Now you've added more expense to the value. And what was the other thing that? Third party support is incredibly lackluster, as we've already talked about again. And for me personally, at $300, I just don't. I'm sorry, cost wins out on that battle. I do not see any reason for me to spend $300 on this system. I have not pre-ordered one. I am not planning on pre-ordering one. I am not going to. I am excited for Zelda, but Zelda's a launch game. If I do decide to get a Switch, Zelda's always going to be there. I don't need to be the first to play it. What I feel like we're going to see, this is my prediction, is you're going to see this thing sell pretty well for about 3 months. Again, a lot of that's going to come down to the forced drought that we know Nintendo always seems to shuffle out.
It'll fluff their numbers.
It'll fluff their numbers for about production. 3 months. So that puts us into June. Now we've got 6 months where you're going to see sales start to decline and maybe some lackluster sales. Come Christmas time, when that new Mario comes out, I think you're going to get a pack in. I think it's going to be either $250 or $300, probably $300, but you'll be getting a game for it. Now, it's probably going to be a new game. It might be Zelda. It might be the new Mario Odyssey. I think is what you're going to see, and I think for me personally, that is the time for me to revisit the balance versus or the cost versus value argument. And I can see myself getting one for Christmas time, asking one for Christmas, picking one up on my own holiday time. But until then, I just don't feel it's going to be worth my money. So you guys have fun with it. You can tell me all about it.
Yeah. I think we're gonna get a Dreamcast Part 2 with the Switch.
I don't know that it's that before its time, like the Dreamcast was, but I do think that there's something to what Dan's saying. That $300, my assumption is that price is set up so that they can lower it. If it comes in at $250, they probably can't drop it down to $200. They can probably sell this thing for $250 pretty comfortably.
With and at that point, they'll have a game to put in there.
So I think they'll sell it for $250 without a game, and they'll sell it for $300 with a game.
Right.
I think the pack-in will be something that's probably going to sell, like a Zelda or a Mario. But I'm okay not waiting for that. I'm okay buying one day one because I want to play Zelda. I do want to play. There's some games like Puyo Puyo Tetris that I've wanted to play. I don't care where I play that at. I could get it on PS4, but if I don't care where I can play it on and I want to use my Switch and have the ability to play it on the go, that's a fun one I think that I'll enjoy. ARMS looks like too much fucking work for me.
Yeah.
If you have kids in your house or you're active, I think that game is neat and probably fun. I don't know how hard those controllers don't look comfortable in your hand. Not when you're playing like a controller, but when you're holding them like a motion controller would be.
Yeah.
When they're like out here.
Yeah, they don't look comfortable when you're just holding them.
Here.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like they're smaller than a Sharpie. Like
right.
they're smaller than
they're not long
Sharpie
enough for you to get a good grip on it, but they're wide and they have a stick.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how well you can clutch those to play something like Just Dance.
They're about that big, about the size of a pill bottle.
But if you stuck a joystick on that, I don't know how well you can hold that.
Yeah.
While you're shaking your groove thing. So
I don't know.
There's some concern over that. You know, the 1-2 Switch should have been a pack-in game.
Yeah, because it's stupid.
Because it's full of tech demos. I just don't know. There's some cool stuff from everything I've read. The HD Touch, which is something they showed off at the conference with simulating that you can feel what ice feels like in a cup, or what 2 cubes feel like, 3 cubes, or what it's like with water in it. Apparently, when it's using that, it's really fucking cool. There's a game where you roll a ball bearing around inside the controller and you can actually like feel it rolling. But apparently,
I just can't think of a application for that.
But apparently, when it's on the tablet or when you're using it as a controller, the vibration is very weak. It's only when they're doing that thing that it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's they're set up and they're strapped in and stuff when they're at these events, or if it just only works when they're using that technology, that HD vibration. So that's something that I've heard a lot of people talking about, that it's very fucking cool when it works, but that doesn't always work. Sometimes it's just a very, like, they said it feels like your backpack or your phone ringing in your backpack. Like, that's how faint it is. Like, you can tell something's vibrating, but you can't even really tell where it's at unless they're showing off that tech in something, and then you can really tell, and it's really awesome. So I don't know. I think, like I said, you won't regret getting this, I don't believe, but I do think that Nintendo needs to figure it out in a hurry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, and that's another reason for me why I think it's an idea for me to wait. I'll have a better idea of where Nintendo's at then. I'll have a better idea of where third party's at. 9 months down the road, we're going to have a better overall picture of what's going on with the Switch than we do right now. That is another reason for me to wait.
And I was hard on the launch. I don't. Just to be clear, I don't think this launch is any worse than the PS4 or Xbox One launch. I think this launch is fine because I think 1-2 Switch, while weird, will be fun if people want to play it. I think Zelda's going to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you need a million games because these others are going to start to hit really soon. And when I say third-party support, I know I've always harped on that you buy a Nintendo console to play the Nintendo games. And I still believe that, but you need games that aren't ports. You need new games from Ubisoft that are just for the Switch. You need new games from EA. That's what I mean, third-party. I want that not shovelware that you got on the Wii, but the support. And not just Carnival games. Like, I want some actual substance out of these third-party games I can't play anywhere else to supplement the time between Nintendo titles launching.
Yeah, I mean, that's really how you know, granted, Nintendo, because of their properties, will always sell decently because they have, you know, the Mario and the Zelda. But I think we're long past the time where those alone are enough. You need another reason to. You can't just keep putting out Zelda games because then you burn out that constituency.
Yeah.
Same thing with Mario. Same thing with Mario Kart. There's only so much you can do with those characters before they are no longer relevant to your company. You can't make those not so much the cornerstone, but they can't be the entire foundation of what you're trying to do.
I mean, they can be the keystone titles, right? You can have Mario and Zelda and Donkey Kong and Mario Party and Mario Kart and Smash, and those can be the titles that you expect to come out, just like you expect Uncharted to come out on PlayStation. The problem is they can't be the only games to come out.
Right. What happens after that? They can't be not just, you know, yeah, they're keystones, but they can't be the entire building.
Yeah, and 100% the Switch can be the complementary system. The problem that Nintendo needs to address, and the problem with selling it as the complementary system, is you can't play Zelda and then go to your PS4 waiting on the next Nintendo game to come out, right? They need to have a player base. They need to have those games that, like, sure, you go and you, like, Overcooked. Why is Overcooked not coming out on the Switch, right? If it's so easy for indie development, if it's so indie friendly, Overcooked is a great game. Should have been announced for the Switch in their indie spotlight during the conference. It's not that they don't know what their market is. It's that they didn't play to a larger market. That I think is the misstep. Like, they can be the complementary console, but they have to have some reason for you to play the Switch. The Switch is a unique situation of having the, you know, like you said, the Rolls Royce of handhelds. Why do I want the Rolls Royce of handhelds? It can't be to play Mario and Zelda on the go. It needs to be that I can play some other games that I've always said, man, wouldn't this be great if I could take it with me? Like, those need to be on the console.
I think that system is worth $300 if you don't play anything other than Zelda, Mario Kart, and Smash Brothers on it. So I understand that they put so much stock behind those games because I think it's worth the money if you only play those on it. Having the ability to play Mario Kart anywhere with Wi-Fi is pretty fucking cool. But
I think that it's the death of the console. I think the console is...
They can't keep doing it. They can't keep doing this.
I mean, they can't carry the system with just those titles.
And it's very concerning that they are not new titles. This is not a new Splatoon. Right. Like, if you think you're buying this and getting a brand new Splatoon, by all accounts, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
They're doing that Last of Us Remastered thing in that they think people didn't play this before.
Right.
And they probably didn't. They only sold something like 12 million Wii U's, so they probably didn't play it. And something else we want to touch on that I skipped over earlier, the online service. So it's free at launch, and it will be a free service until the fall, which presumably you'll have something to actually play with each other. And at that point, it will become a charged service. But another confusing thing is this mobile app that you need to connect with your friends.
You need a mobile app for party chat.
It appears that way in the wording. I hope that is just confusing Japanese wording, and not that I actually have to go through my mobile phone. And until that service is live, nobody's going to have any idea. But it certainly in the wording sounds like you have to chat, message, send friend requests, invite friends, everything through a mobile app. There's no excuse for party chat not to be built in the system in 2017. No excuse.
Yeah, so and I think it's very telling that we're talking about the missteps and downfalls of a console before it's even launched. I don't think that we see this console supported for more than 3 years, and I think Nintendo's done after that.
I mean, so many of the problems just come from that conference was so bad, but I still don't think their missteps were as bad as Microsoft's, but that conference was way worse.
Right.
And there's a lot of people right now that said, "Oh, well, they're saving it for E3. E3 is right around the corner." Nintendo they can't afford to do that. They can't afford to save anything for E3 because they're in a bad way right now.
They haven't gone to E3 the last 2 years. They've done Nintendo Directs.
And they'll be there. And just, I know there's a lot of people that hate the Directs. This should have been done as a Direct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This reveal should have been Direct because Directs are polished. They go the way they want them to.
You can edit, that kind of thing. It offers you so much more to put together a decent presentation.
Yeah, this was the worst light to show it in, and I just think they're in real trouble on paper, but I think this is going to be a good system. Like, yeah, I'm getting one, and I'll feel probably pretty okay with it, but I actually think Matt, who's negative on everything, will feel okay about this system.
Oh, yeah, I mean, as negative as I'm coming across about this console, I'm very excited for it. But I think this is the last Nintendo console that we ever see that's not a handheld before they go to 100% third-party support.
But this is a handheld. They fucked up. It's not a home console.
I think you're right. What they should have done is said that the Nintendo Switch is going to come out, and we're going to slowly start phasing out the 3DS and the Nintendo handhelds. And going forward, you will buy a Nintendo Switch, which is a handheld that you can use at home.
But we touched on it. They can't do that in case this fails.
What they should have said though is they could have
guaranteed the success in that
market
by putting
in mobile gaming or something.
They should have said the PS4 is great, the Xbox One's great in your home.
Yeah.
This is great everywhere.
The Nintendo Switch is going to be great in your backpack, in your laptop bag. It's going to be great.
It's great when you're waiting for your doctor's appointment. It's great when you're getting your oil changed. It's great when you're taking a dump. This thing is great everywhere.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. There is if they really wanted to say, this is our handheld. This is our vision going forward. We want to give you a handheld that you can use as a home console in the meantime. It should have had support for 3DS cartridges in the fucking tablet. Like, why would you not make a console that you could take that also supported your other mobile gaming platform?
I assume because it's tough to adapt to two screens.
Right.
You don't want to cannibalize your market, but I'm going to assume that this thing has Virtual Console. It should have the handheld Virtual Console.
Why didn't they talk about Virtual Console?
Titles.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why didn't they show somebody playing Mario 3 on that? So I could somehow get my money to the store faster.
Right.
Exactly. Like,
we all know they're going to exist, but why didn't they show it? Why don't they tug at those heartstrings? Because, and so part of the online service, if you pay for that, they say you're going to get the ability to play a free game from either NES or Super Nintendo per month. One game.
It's only good that month.
It's only good that month, but the Super Nintendo stuff has online services.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the idea that some Super Nintendo games I could play again now with Matt while we're not at work.
Like a 2-player title, yeah.
That sounds fucking awesome to me. Like, why wasn't that out there? Why the fuck are you showing me some guy who's not making a game yet but might?
Well, I think it's a very fine line because we've talked about it before. Ryan, you're talking about tugging at the heartstrings and that, and I know Matt and I have talked, and Matt and I have said time and time again that Nintendo has to get to a point where they're not just relying on that nostalgia anymore.
Yeah, but why not use that in this? You're supposed to get people excited.
Right. And I understand that, but I think it's a fine line that
you don't have to ever rely on it again, but right now you should have got me excited.
At least talked about it.
You should have got me excited. They should have showed.
Right, at least showed Contra 2 to people playing it. So
show somebody playing Mario World, having the time of their life out and about at a store or a place where you don't normally have. I watched a hands-on reaction video, and the guy said, "I love iPad games, but I hate playing games on my iPad. Mm-hmm. This fixes that problem." Why the fuck aren't you saying that, Nintendo? Why aren't you saying there's millions and millions of good games for mobile devices, and we're going to have all of those? Yep. But now you can play them in a way that's comfortable for a person who is used to a controller.
Grown up with a controller.
Right. Why aren't they saying we're fixing that problem? We're fixing the problem of people not wanting to touch the screen while they're trying to play. There are so many different directions they could have gone to make this a thing that people got excited about. If they just said, the App Store's got 250 million titles of them, and we expect all of those to end up on the Switch, but with controller support.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, I need that.
Yeah.
I need that today.
And that offers me more of a value. I mean, there are, games that I want to play on Android, but I don't like playing games on a phone.
Right. We fixed that problem.
Yeah. And
we put a controller on the tablet. We fixed that problem.
Tell people that.
Yeah. But no. What you can play is you can play a game that's not out yet that we're not working on.
Right.
Or you can play Sonic.
Or a game that's already been out that is just different for this.
Right. Yeah, and by different we mean not as good. Just to be clear on that. FIFA will not be as good on the Switch.
And that's something else that worries me is Nintendo has got to get a console right so that there is not FIFA Switch, because this game Wii U, this game Wii, whatever.
It should just be FIFA.
Yeah, but
the same FIFA you play everywhere.
The thing is what we've seen is because of the Wii and the Wii U, that now means lesser. That means not as good as.
Right.
Is what we've seen. And so now this FIFA Switch, to me that means, okay, well, it's not as good as FIFA. I'll just get it for the Xbox One.
Whether it's better or not, it will be perceived as being worse.
Right. That
because
perception is already there.
Right.
But right.
It's probably not better.
That perception is there.
It should just there are so many directions they could have went that they didn't go, and it can still be fixed. It just, this was a bad way to show it off. It should have been that the ultimate handheld, the ultimate play anywhere system, full virtual catalog, all the games you loved growing up, but now they look good and they're in your hand. Huge library coming over from iPads and from tablets and from Android and from iOS, all with controller support. And everything is going to be available, not everything, but hundreds of games available day one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There should be too many options when this thing launches.
But it's not. This is the death of Nintendo as we know it. This is it right here. We've been talking about it since the end of the Wii's life cycle and how shovelware it got and how huge of a failure the Wii U was.
If they don't get this right, it is likely the last console that they make.
But they already don't have it right. Like, they don't have
but it can
time
be fixed.
to...
Microsoft didn't do it right either.
Yeah, but Microsoft wasn't in a position where they had to get it right on the first time. They were coming off the Xbox 360. They had room to fail.
I don't think they have to
Nintendo
get it right.
Doesn't have that.
In the messaging, they have to get this system right, but I don't think they had to get. It certainly would have helped if they got it right in this reveal. I think they're still fine if they fix it. They course correct.
There's too many what ifs right now.
They have to get the right information out there, not the stuff that matters to them.
Yeah,
what Nintendo needs is what Sony and Microsoft have now, which is a better grasp of the market that they are trying to be a part of. And I don't think Nintendo's ever going to get that back.
And I'm worried about, to be honest, I'm worried about Nintendo's online service. Because here it is, 2017. They've basely, been like a moon landing denier on the internet for the last
flat earthers
for the last 17 years. Oh, nobody wants that. Oh, nobody wants that. And now all of a sudden, here, I don't know if they're in a position to charge for their online system that they haven't embraced.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if that never switches over to a charge service and just stays a free. Because I think you're right. I don't know that they're in a position where they can charge for it unless it's really fucking good. Why did they show Super Mario Run? Why didn't they show the new Animal Crossing? Why didn't they show Miitomo? Like, why isn't every mobile game for Nintendo on this? You don't have to want to play them, but why aren't they there? Why don't they tell you the message going forward is that you're going to get these mobile games because this thing does that.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to look like a PS4 if you're telling me I can play all the shit I want to play that I just have it on my tablet.
Right.
Like, it doesn't have to.
Be a real complementary system.
Yeah.
Don't be an island unto yourself over here that you can just play Mario and Zelda on. Be that system that I can play every Nintendo game on, right?
And Mario and Zelda.
And the thing is,
if you're the complementary company, be the ultimate complementune company.
Yeah, but they don't view themselves that way.
And there are so many.
Right now, Google Play is,
There are so many games on Google Play or iTunes that offers you it's a game that's so old that has the replayability, i.e. Skyrim. You can get KOTOR. KOTOR's available on Android and iTunes.
But I should see somebody playing Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, Hearthstone. Like, I should see people playing that. Why the fuck isn't
Mobile
Hearthstone
Strike.
on there?
Mobile Strike.
Why isn't Hearthstone on there?
You should have, like Devolver Digital come up and say, hey, we're going to put Hotline Miami's on these. Even if it's a Hotline Miami that's exclusive to Switch, you're going to have Mike Bithell come up and say, hey, you wanted to play Volume somewhere else, you can play it.
Those games can be exclusive, and they can be not as good, and it's fine because you can play them anywhere.
Yep.
Right. Sure, you can get them on PS4, but now you can play them, now you can play them in the shitter.
I can't play Volume in the backseat of a car.
Yeah.
Now I can.
And I don't necessarily want to play Thomas
Vita.
Was Alone on my dead Vita or on my cell phone. I want to play it on this. I want to play it on this new thing with the controller.
They can course correct, but and we probably don't give Microsoft enough credit because it's fucking hard to fix what you do in the beginning. Yeah. And Microsoft somehow managed to survive.
Nintendo just
like
isn't
Matt said,
in a position to have to do that.
They did have some room to fail coming up in 360.
They did, but boy, did they misstep.
They did.
Nintend's got as much room to fail as we do if we're putting out a brand new console right now.
And Sony is destroying everything, I think that makes it harder. If the Xbox and the PS4 were a little closer, I think that makes it easier for Nintendo. But Sony is fucking just destroying it. I mean, I think they just announced there are 54 million consoles sold through.
Yeah.
Sony has got to be looking at Nintendo as something that they can absorb.
They sold something like 6 million in Q4. Like, they're still fucking selling them like nobody has one, which is super bizarre.
Which I can't figure out. Like, how many do you need in your fucking house now?
Right, so...
that's it. It's like, how many rooms do you have? You need that many PS4s. Like, that's where they're at.
It's hard to... I think it's hard for Nintendo right now to come out and make a splash when you have a company that... I mean, Sony has made like tons of missteps and no one gives a shit. Yeah. They've had almost no first-party games come out.
Let's talk about the other worst part of any console announcement, which is the entertainment section. Nobody gives a fuck if you announce that you have a YouTube and a Netflix and a Crunchyroll app because it's expected. Nintendo didn't even come out and say, hey, we're going to have all these things. Like, you expect us to have an app library, and here it is. And what if they don't, right? If I can't watch Netflix, YouTube, Crunchyroll, Amazon, Hulu on my Nintendo Switch, what the fuck is the point? Because I can watch those things on my cell phone.
Right. They should show... they should show somebody laying in bed playing Mario and then being like, oh, I need to get to bed, hit a button, switch over to Netflix, pop the kickstand out, set it down, and lay there watching it. Like,
or Pandora, just flip the Pandora, turn the music on.
It should be that
Spotify.
quick. It should be that fast. It should work that well. It probably doesn't.
No.
But it has to have, like, if it doesn't have Netflix and YouTube, what the fuck are you doing?
Also, it's a capacitive touchscreen tablet, multi-touch tablet, and they didn't show any of that functionality
I haven't
for
seen
anything.
touch on anything.
No,
They didn't show touch functionality for...
Even the hands-on, like, touch is not turned on, apparently.
Why?
I don't know. But they gotta get this right. And I don't know. I don't know if they can.
So here's one of the big things that my pre-order is conditional. So my investment in this console 100% depends on what happens between now and March.
I'm gonna get mine either way.
If they really fuck that, because I can buy a Wii U and play Breath of the Wild for half the cost as I can, and that's the only game I care about. I can buy a Wii U and Breath of the Wild for half the cost of this. If they don't come out with more between now and March, that like they know, right? They've tested the waters, they've dipped their toe in. Now they know what people think. If between now and March they don't come out and course correct, a la Microsoft, this is it. Like, they're done at this point. Like, the conference after March needs to be Sony coming out and say, hey, we have a new acquisition, and it's Nintendo.
Well, like, Sony's messed up. Like, I don't think, they've handled first party support poorly. They've handled VR support poorly. But
they're in a position to.
Yeah, but nobody even gives a shit. Like, no one's even talking about it.
Right.
Nobody anywhere talks about how you can't right now go buy a VR if you wanted to at a store.
So?
No one cares. They are sending that thing out to die, and nobody cares.
When you're selling millions of consoles on the back of poor VR support, it's fine because your install base is there, right?
The Pro. Everybody
there
like
will
the
be
Pro
too many.
messaging is terrible, but it's fine.
No, the Pro messaging is terrible, and the Pro is a misstep on Sony's part, but they're in a position to have that fail, right? They're in a position for VR to fail.
It's just odd to me that their dominance continues because they have done nothing to ensure that it has.
Right, but like Microsoft, when if Microsoft had an exclusive VR, like if Oculus One or whatever the Oculus compatible thing for Xbox One comes out, if they don't support that, if that doesn't flood the market, Microsoft is not in a position for that to fail. Sony can short sell VR. They can put out 300 units, sell them all out, and say, hey, we'll put them out when we want to because we're just trying to build the install base. They are in a position to not market things well because they continue to sell the base console. They're in a position for the PS4 to be the PS4 Pro to be something that only 600,000 people buy. They don't need to have that console go mass. But Microsoft and, more importantly, Nintendo are not in that position. When they put something out, they have to go 100% in. They have to commit 110%. They have to make sure that that's all they talk about. They have to make sure it's on store shelves. Nintendo's not going to do that.
I guess I just don't understand the dominance that Sony continues to have.
They have a good games library. They have the best online support. They have the best free games every month
online. I don't know
online.
if they do have the best online. I still think Xbox Live is a better service. Their games catalog, I don't know that that's better either. I think they suck on both systems. I think Microsoft's exclusives and Sony's aren't very good.
I think what you see is Sony. It's pretty typical. Sony for since the PS4 came out, they've been just dominating. They've been doing everything right,
but they haven't
nothing but good. Since the PS4 came out, you don't think so?
No.
I don't think they've done much wrong.
Name 10 first-party games that you care about.
But I mean, just their general dominance of the market.
Yeah, but I don't understand their dominance, is what I'm saying.
Okay, I got you. I
don't think their dominance is. I think they're dominating the way Xbox 360 did. Their dominance isn't in first-party support. Their dominance is in third-party titles.
All that shit comes out for Xbox One, though.
Right, but all that shit came out for PS3 also.
I don't understand. Like with Xbox 360, I did understand that they had better first parties early. And they had Xbox Live on 360 compared to PS3 was hands down a better system.
Mm-hmm. Sure, but what Xbox 360 did better was it came out cheaper and it had the install base first. So that's what PS4 did. It came out cheaper, or it came out in a price point that was acceptable. With all the third-party games that you wanted to play from 360 and PS, it came out and said, hey, we got the Call of Duty exclusive. We got the third-party support. The games that everybody played on 360 were not first-party titles. Let's be very clear about that. The reason that people bought Xbox 360 was because all their friends had it, and that's where everybody was playing Call of Duty.
All their friends didn't have it first, though. Like, that's the thing that happened.
Xbox 360 had the install base first over PS3 because PS3 was too fucking much, right? The price guaranteed the install base, and then everybody played Madden and FIFA.
But there's nothing to
justify
the PS4 just suddenly switching roles and continuing.
Because the PS4 came out and said, we're going to have the acceptable price, and we're going to have those third-party games, and first-party is going to be our secondary to build that install base. And they built the install base first. That's what PS4 did. They built the install base first.
I think Nintendo is going to struggle more because of Sony's dominance, and I don't think I understand Sony's dominance. And there are definitely holes in the armor. Nintendo could do this right, and they probably won't. But it's going to be a fun ride either way, and that system's going to be fun. And I think if you spend the money, you're okay. I don't think you'll regret it.
I'm very excited about it. I think this is the end of Nintendo. I think we are watching Nintendo go down.
Yeah, but everybody said that with the Wii U too. Everybody said that with the Wii U.
I think now it doesn't offer value for the money. I think you wait.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Nintendo's a ship that sinks in one console cycle, but I think
everybody said that the Wii U was their last system. They were done. They'll never do another.
Wii U was definitely the beginning of the end, but I don't think they do another.
Everybody said that about the GameCube too. I mean. The thing is, Nintendo has a history of not hitting their mark, but they find a way.
Care.
Yeah,
I don't consider the Wii to be a successful console.
So financially is what we're talking about, because the GameCube is a failure and the Wii is a success, and that should never be the case, but it is. But for all the money they lost on the Wii U, they made it all right back on Amiibos.
Right.
Like they find a way to succeed, and they probably will again, even if it's not through this system.
It's very apparent that Nintendo is a great third party.
Nintendo is a Nintendo has assets that are worth a fortune, and they find creative ways to use those assets. Their IPs are more valuable than anyone's.
Right. I agree. Yeah.
I mean, we talked about Nintendo stock dropping 5 points whenever they made the Switch announcement, right? I think if Nintendo wants their stock to go up and they want to be a valued company again, they stop trying to be Nintendo by themselves.
They don't have a desire to be a third party as much as you want them to be. They don't have that desire. They'll fight that until the very end.
Sega didn't want to be a third party either, but Sega found more success.
What kind of third party has Sega been? They're a fucking shit show.
Sega found more success in selling out to Nintendo than they ever have.
They're a fucking shit show. Nobody respects anything they make now. No one looks at a Sega game and thinks that's probably going to be great.
Sega had more success selling out to Nintendo than they ever had as a console developer.
At this point.
But they had more success as a third party than they did as a first party developer.
Sonic and Mario at the Olympics and Alpha fucking Protocol.
Hey,
thanks Sega.
Shut your mouth.
Thanks Sega.
Sure, but Sega had a way more success.
Sega
as third party
never
than
had status and money like Nintendo did.
But
Sega never had IPs like Nintendo has.
And which is a great point. Nintendo stock would triple overnight if they said all of the Nintendo IPs are available on Microsoft and Sony consoles going forward.
They have no desire for everything that Nintendo did wrong with the Wii U. They did right with their mobile offerings, with Amiibos. Fucking Pokemon made insane money, and they don't get all of that, but they get some of it. Super Mario Run making fucking dumb money. People spent money on...
I mean, But why, right? Why is Super Mario Run making dumb money? Because it's not available on a Nintendo exclusive console. You can play it on everything.
If it was everywhere, I don't know if it's as special. If you can just get Mario on every single home console, there's no gimmick anymore for them to sell their
Mario
stuff.
Run and Pokemon Go are the exact example of Nintendo's success if they weren't exclusive to Nintendo consoles.
I don't know. You can't oversaturate.
Nintendo likes their IPs. They also like selling consoles, regardless of whether they're good consoles. We think they're good consoles. They always think they have a good product. They are not going to be able to do one without the other. Without those IPs and the console together, Nintendo would never move forward with anything. If they sold out, yes, they would make a whole bunch of money, but Nintendo would cease to exist. It wouldn't exist. And it wouldn't be what it is.
They'd have to be on the verge of bankruptcy before they did that. Mm-hmm. They will never do it before then.
Nintendo is already not what Nintendo is, though. Does that make sense? That's a weird fucking sentence.
I think Nintendo is exactly what Nintendo is, and that's their problem. They're exactly what the fuck they are, and they can't figure out how to stop being that.
The problem is they haven't moved on in the last 30 years like the rest of the
I don't know that
has.
Nintendo was what people think it was way back when.
I think Nintendo was.
They have always just been what they are, and it was just acceptable.
Right, just in the time that Nintendo was successful, that's what the market wanted, and the market like arcades, right? Like arcades were booming in their time, but now you go to an arcade and it's like five guys that smell bad still playing. Like it's just not what it used to be.
I don't know. I don't think this is. I think this is likely the end, but I don't think there's any guarantee that this is the end because I think counting Nintendo out is something that lots of people want to do. I think people want Nintendo to fail in an odd way. People think if they fail, they get Mario on their PS4, and I don't think that's the case. And I mean,
we got Mario on our cell phone,
and I think because that made sense for them. Because
eventually it will make sense for them to have Mario everywhere.
When they're facing bankruptcy, that's when this will make sense for Nintendo. Because right now they're trying to market a handheld mobile platform, and they needed mobile games. I think this all is part of what happened with the Wii U and trying to supplement that. But if you could say, hey, do you want your thriving mobile sales plus your Amiibo sales, or would you trade that for the Wii U being successful? I don't think there's a world in which they do that because now they have put themselves in a position where they can make a fortune on mobile and they can make a fortune off of plastic toys. And like Dan said, they feel like they need that console to complement those things.
But that's a misstep.
Well, that's Nintendo. Right? They're not going to change that, and I don't think so. I don't think the smart move is for Nintendo is to go third party right now. I don't.
No. I mean, no matter what their good intentions, Nintendo is slitting their own throat by not understanding what people want. They're not letting the market dictate their business.
But I don't want them to go third party. I think that is a misstep.
Which is fine, but I think that attitude is the same attitude that Nintendo has. We don't want to go third party, but the market dictates that Nintendo should go third party, right?
No,
Nintendo's success on their own console is not the same success that they have by releasing on mobile platforms or by releasing something like Amiibos that are not traditional for Nintendo. Nintendo needs to break tradition. The market clearly says that what we want is Nintendo on not Nintendo consoles. We want Super Mario Run. We want Pokemon Go. We want things like Skylanders.
I don't think a couple of games available on phone is a statement that nobody wants. That you want everything on a Nintendo.
When was the last
console?
What's the install base for Pokemon Go and Super Mario Run versus what the install base is for first party titles on the Wii U? I guarantee you it's threefold.
Well, sure, because the install base for the devices they can use them on is considerably higher. I mean, they can't sell more than 12 million of anything really for the Wii U. That's how many people are playing it.
That is my entire point.
But they don't want to be that. They don't want to be a software hustler because they'll end up like Sega.
But that's wrong. Right, but that's wrong for Nintendo because unlike Sega, nobody plays Sonic on their fucking mobile phone.
Everybody played Sonic back in the day. And they said, we'll go third party because everybody wants Sonic everywhere. It turns out you don't.
Yeah, but people do want Mario and people do want Pokemon everywhere.
But when they get it everywhere, I guarantee you it's not as special. I guarantee you.
Yeah, I don't think Nintendo's in a space to say it's about us being special anymore. I think Nintendo's in a space to say if the market tells us this is what we need to do, that's what we need to do.
They have like $19 billion. I think they're fine. And even if this fails, which it likely will, I still think they're fine, but I think that they have to figure something out because this console's already in trouble and it's not even out for another 2 months.
I mean, you just said it already. This console will fail. You just said it.
It will likely fail, is what I said. And I think it likely will.
Yeah, and I think it likely will also. I don't think there's a person in the world that watched that console that doesn't think the Nintendo Switch
But it won't likely fail because of what it is. The product is spot on. It will likely fail because they don't understand
how to market it.
They don't understand how to not be a home console.
They don't understand what the market wants. They understand how to make something cool.
Is say we made this awesome. I mean, like I said, they should be the luxury tablet, the luxury mobile experience.
Right, but the Vita was supposed to be the luxury mobile experience.
The Vita was mismarketed from the start too.
Sure.
I mean, these companies have such a hard time figuring out how to be just like a complimentary thing.
Because all these companies are so focused on taking market share away from somebody else that they miss their message.
Sony totally shit the bed on the Vita. They shit the bed on it.
I know.
Because Nintendo has that market.
The
right?
reason
Nintendo
the Vita
has the
is dead is because of Sony, not because of Nintendo, not because of the market. It's fucking dead because of Sony. Because Sony doesn't understand how to market a handheld because they want you to buy a PS4.
Sure.
But Sony is fucking crazy enough to make another Vita.
Yeah.
Well, they're in a position to have a Vita 2 fail also.
Hell, they would do it even if they're not in a position. That's fucking... it's not just Nintendo. This is a Japanese thing.
Yeah.
I mean, PlayStation TV, right? Let's talk about that. Like
a shit show.
Why
don't you just take a bunch of money, put it in a barrel, and light it on fire?
PlayStation Now, right? That was PlayStation's answer to the Nintendo Virtual Console.
Spent on that.
Done, right?
They bought that Gaikai, spent millions of dollars, so they could turn it into a service no one wants and let it fail.
Sure.
And it doesn't matter because even if they didn't have any money, they still would have done all these things. When they bought Gaikai, they didn't have any money. The PS3 wasn't lighting the world on fire.
Right.
And they still did it, and people are still like, "What are you doing?" They're like, "It's cool."
But they're still selling that console. It's got that install base for it, so if they ever do anything cool, it's there, right? If PlayStation Now ever becomes the service that they promised on PS3, right? But they have the install base so that if it ever does, it can.
But when they started, they didn't have that.
But what Nintendo doesn't have is the install base so that they can take a big fucking step and miss. They don't have that, so they have to get that. And how are they going to get that? I don't know. But my thought is if they have mobile success through mobile phone applications, you try to take that pattern and move it to your new console by not making things exclusive. Maybe you put out a first-party console and you say, hey, if you want to play Mario and Zelda and stuff like that, you can, but also you're going to be able to get other games coming to other consoles that are Nintendo first party. They might not put Legend of Zelda and Mario out on a PlayStation and Microsoft console, but they may put Splatoon out on those consoles.
I hope they figure it out, because I think this is a good step. I think this is something the market needs in a tablet with a controller that I can play anywhere. That's going to have games that I know are guaranteed to be fun and not broken, because Nintendo does not ship broken games. If they start doing that now, it would be odd, because they just something they don't do.
Yeah,
but their messaging is very cloudy right now, and there are too many ways to get your messaging out there for it to be cloudy.
Yeah,
there are too many ways to communicate with the people who are going to buy your system for it not to be clear on what I'm buying. So we'll see what happens in the coming months. Either way, I'll have some day one impressions for everybody.
Matt might. I will not.
Yeah.
At all.
There's a lot of podcasts between now and March.
I got Zelda, so likely that'll be the only game that I have with mine. So
yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm sure. No.
I'm
not gonna have anybody to stand face to face with that wants to play something stupid like that with me.
I wouldn't mind playing 1-2 Switch, but I think I also don't have. I don't think I have an audience to play that with that I would need to play that with. And I also think that 1-2 Switch is fun twice.
Right.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to pick that game up fairly cheap. Now, the snipper clip
looks fun.
Let Us Cut Together is $20, and it looks like a fucking good time.
It's got that Overcooked vibe.
It really does. It's $20.
And if it has online multiplayer, that's great.
It's $20.
Yeah.
That is a game I fully plan on buying.
Yeah.
And I think it does have online. I think it's 1 to 4 players offline, and it has online.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that game looks great. $20. Like,
yep.
Moments of brilliance.
Yep.
They didn't spend any time on that at all. Right. I don't even think they showed it in the conference. That was the next day on the Treehouse stream.
Yeah, and it was probably one of the coolest parts of the Treehouse.
Yeah, it's just fucking mind-blowing with Nintendo.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think, podcast@gamestitch.com, or hit us up on Twitter @game_stitch. Is the Switch for you? Has it switched your mind? Yeah. Or just snap. Just send us snaps.
Fucking horrible.
Also,
video responses.
Also about I'll have Super Bomberman R too.
Yeah, I'll probably get that Super Street Fighter Ultra
Super Bomberman, is that a digital? I can't find that for sale anywhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess it's I don't know. I didn't see anything on it other than them playing it on the Treehouse.
Old Bomberman reminds me of my youth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't need any bullshit. Just old Bomberman.
Yeah.
I want to get the punching glove. I want to send a bomb your way with a giant fuck you attached to it. And I want to watch you die.
Right.
That game is... That's a game that they haven't treated right. They made 1,000 versions of it. It should have... Bomberman should almost have like a Rocket League style following.
Right.
The matches are short. They're fun. You fuck your friends over. You fuck strangers over. There are clear strategies that work better than others, but depending on what the other people are doing, you have to adjust those. They should find a way to bring Bomberman to the masses.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to play against you two on Bomberman.
The Bomberman Renaissance is coming in 2017. Be ready.
No, Dad's not getting a Switch.
I'm not getting one.
Never fucking play together. We got to move on. Couple of quick stories. Going to go through these. Microsoft confirmed Scalebound's cancellation last week. Because of the timing of our podcast, we obviously didn't get to talk about this. They broke the word that Platinum will cease production on Scalebound, and that Microsoft will move on without that.
I did tweet out about it, so...
Yeah. Phil Spencer's come out. He's answered a lot of questions on Twitter. And more or less, he said, we want everything we make to be great. That doesn't always happen. So sometimes we have to know where to cut our losses. A lot of rumors circulating around the fact that the game's engine was totally broken and that this game still did not run.
Right.
So interesting to see what happens with Platinum and all that, because I know that Microsoft invested a lot of money. He also said they'll continue to invest in third parties, creating exclusives, so second-party studios more or less, but that their focus going forward will be on first party. Got to get it right. MPD Group announced that PlayStation 4 was the top-selling console in the United States for December 2016. Not a shock there.
No.
But Microsoft announced they were the best-selling overall for the second half of 2016, clinching that whole back half.
It's possible.
Yeah, I think it's pretty likely. They carried September, October, November. So, or
I don't carry
September,
quite
October.
as much weight that Microsoft announced that they're the best console, but
a lot of those are
the best-selling console.
a lot of those things are sketchy. Anyways, they only announce what's good for them.
Right.
I heard we're the #1 podcast on the internet.
By Gamestitch Magazine.
Yeah, Gamestitch.com is reporting that the
Right.
official Gamestitch podcast is the #1 listened to podcast on all podcast services worldwide.
In an
right now.
Xbox Wire post, Microsoft said an update is coming for the Xbox home button functionality to make it faster to perform common tasks. This is going to be very similar to what Sony did a couple months ago in updating
With
their quick
left
select
side overlay.
Correct. So something to look forward to. And Battlefield 1 has a custom game, Back to Basics. It has arrived and you can find it now. So check that out for anyone still playing or who may have set Battlefield 1 down. Something to jump back into maybe.
Boom.
Very Switch-heavy podcast, but you probably knew that was coming.
Mm-hmm.
Be a shame for us not to talk about that shit show conference. If you haven't watched it, carve out an hour of your time.
Oh, jeez.
Get some popcorn, get
Yeah.
comfortable, and just take it for what it is. Because
Or
it
you
is
can watch
bizarre.
Zombievers.
It
which
is fucking
just as
bizarre.
entertaining, probably more entertaining.
You're going to need something to drink if you're going to watch
It
that
is
conference, too.
bizarre.
Some whiskey, Tiger
Yeah,
and
Jack
wine,
and Coke.
I just
little Cavassier.
so normally when like a E3 or something's going on, we're all blowing each other up in text messaging.
Yeah.
During the
There
whole
was
thing,
none of that.
me and Matt sent like 4 texts because I didn't even know what to say.
Yeah. It was bad. It was like watching your friend get murdered.
And I just watched it, and I was like, huh. I didn't even bother.
Yeah, it
I
really
didn't
is.
even know I was watching it.
It's like when your team is playing Sunday and you're like, we're finally going to fucking do it. Like, we got a good chance. And then
God
the other
damn
team
it.
scores a touchdown on the opening kickoff. And it just stays that way for the rest of the time. And you're like, shit, I could have done anything else.
Yeah.
Like, I thought they were going to be great.
Like that Super Bowl where the Broncos had that fucking
Well, they got
bad
beat
snap
down by
into the end zone.
Seattle.
No.
Yeah, they got their fucking pants ripped off.
Yeah, it was just one of those situations where, like, you went to watch your buddy at his talent show, and you're like, yeah, he's going to be great. And he comes out and he sucks. And you're like, whoops.
Whoa.
This sucks. I thought he was going to be great. And everyone,
Can we address that Dan might be naked right now?
No, he at least doesn't have a shirt on.
I haven't seen pants this whole... Oh, there they are. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Great.
Yeah. Wear them up high, bro.
If you want to follow us on the social medias, we are at Game_Stitch. I am at Podcast Ryan. Matt is at Goddammit Matt. And Dan is at Shirtless Dan, which is very
If you think
appropriate.
I didn't get a screen capture of that, you're dead wrong.
Very appropriate that he
Get
would
ready,
be at
buddy.
Shirtless Dan. If you want to support us over on Patreon, we talked about it earlier, patreon.com/GameStitch. We have some rewards up there. We have some goals. We are working out the back catalog thing. You should have news of that by next week. You want to skip the other things and just shut this thing down?
Yeah.
Does anybody have a Gone But Not Forgotten that was ready, like in the waiting?
No.
Was it my week?
I don't think I put it on here.
I don't even
Okay.
know whose week it was. We haven't
Yeah.
done one in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, so
Yeah, we
we'll
have.
jump back into that next week.
Yeah.
Because I just think we're running long, and I want people to go watch that conference.
Okay.
So I don't want to take up too much of their time. We end each and every show with a segment we like to call One Final Thing with Uncle Dan. Sometimes. I don't think we do it each and every week.
We don't. We haven't done it in forever, so I didn't have one ready.
There you go. That's your thought. Dan didn't prepare. He's also maybe not wearing pants.
You know what? If you buy anything at a retail store, don't pay in change.
That's not fair. Money's money.
Oh my God, no.
Money's money. I should be allowed to spend it however I want. Now, a better question is, why haven't we done away with change?
Okay, when you buy something that's $10, don't pay in change.
I ain't mad at him. Was it
I
rolled?
mean, a roll of quarters works, bro.
No, not rolled up.
There's something kind of gangster about slapping down a roll of quarters for a $10 bill.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
fine. I'm fine with that.
There's something kind of hardcore about that.
But not loose dimes, nickels.
You're like, I collected these and I roll them. What now? Did they pay at least in silver? Like it wasn't.
It
Yeah,
wasn't
pennies.
pennies. No. It was all silver.
Were they in Ziploc baggies?
No. No, he just had the whole wad of... It wasn't $10. It was like $6 something. He wanted a flashlight that he already bought, but he wanted another one. And he just probably dug through his car or whatever and pulled out change.
I love all the backstory. I love that people tell you they already have one, but they want another one. You're like, just fucking buy it. Like, I don't need any of this extra. There's the thing, though, that people always want to tell somebody something they don't care about. I was looking for a bolt that was, or a wing nut that was impossible to find, and everybody was sending me everywhere to get it. And I had to bite my tongue everywhere I went not to explain why I needed it. Because there's just something inside of you that wants to tell people, even though they don't give a fuck.
Right.
You want to be like, what had happened was, and they're like, I don't care, buddy. I make $8 an hour.
Yeah. Right.
I get off in an hour and a half. Like, we don't have it.
It happens to me all the time with customers. They come in and tell me what happened. I'm like, I don't care why your wiper fell off. I'll sell you the new one that you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right. I don't care what happened.
It's hard, though. It's hard not to want to tell somebody. I want to tell somebody so bad.
Everybody wants to tell their story. We're social animals. It's fine, except for me. Leave me alone.
Well, at work, that's what I think, too, is like, I don't care. But I had to fight the urge. I really wanted to tell somebody.
Let me tell you a story.
Because here's the thing. I'd say, do you have this? We're like, that's a weird size. And I want to be like, it is. It came off of, this is what happened. But I just had to fight it. I had to fight it and go, yeah, it is. You have it?
Yep.
Because I'm going to waste 30 minutes of your life if you just keep on.
Right.
So, yeah. Don't be that guy. Don't tell people stories. They don't care.
Now, if they ask,
That's true.
No, they
you're
don't
obligated to make it short.
Ask.
Tell them, but make it short.
Yeah. Give them the quick, something broke, I need this. You got it?
Yep. What broke? My 3D printer. You got it?
No, see, you can't even do that. They don't fucking care.
Right.
They're going to ask about that 3D printer.
Oh, you got a 3D printer? I make $8 an hour.
Right.
Must be nice to afford that.
I'm real worried
Money
about
bags.
your fucking wing nut.
Way to rub it in my face, son of a bitch.
Right.
Hey, I'll go home and print you up some sympathy and bring it back.
Right.
You
I've
bitter
only ever seen one in the
motherfucker.
box while I'm unloading it off the fucking truck, sweating my ass off for no money.
Right.
Must be cool to be able to buy one.
Must be cool to be able to print plastic shit that you don't really need.
Why don't you go print some money with that thing?
I could print a stack of fake money. I got a 3D printer, everybody.
You can print some change.
It broke. I needed a wing nut.
Plastic nickels.
Couldn't find one. I printed a thumb screw for it, using it, which I felt like is the ultimate way to fix something with itself. It didn't work.
It's like defining a word using the word. It's
Right.
so weird that the 3D printer can be used to repair itself.
Yeah. In theory, it'll never go all the way down because you can just continue to fix it.
Yeah.
That's how Skynet starts.
What you do is you just print all the replacement parts that you ever need while it works.
I'm thinking about printing a whole new printer.
Do it, dude. Print me one.
It's clearly not how it works.
This has been episode 209. Come on.
Is that how we should close it? This has been episode 209. Come on. Come back next week. It's not normally like this.
It is. It's like this every week.
No, you guys spent 45 minutes on millennials at the beginning.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah,
that long.
and
I'm
every
on
week
here.
we spend.
I'm on here and I wanted to leave.
Every week we talk about something stupid at the beginning.
No,
That's
it's
just
usually
our
better
thing.
than that.
Sometimes it's you guys talking about dumb shit.
Yeah,
Like this
Anything
shit.
I'm in is better than what that was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like
How
you
selfish.
guys spent like 30 minutes talking about how Nintendo is or isn't gonna fail.
No,
It's true.
that's fine. Here's what's not fine is Matt goes, I don't have anything to say, and then when it was our turn, he talked for 45 minutes.
Right.
That's
I'm
what's
not
not
good at
fair.
starting everything.
That's what's not fair. This has been episode 209. The Giants are out of the playoffs. Good night.
Come on.
God damn it. Good night. Go Tom Brady.